Good morning yet again, football fans, and welcome to day 2 of 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Ladies and gentlemen, football fans all over the world, it was a lot of fun yesterday as we started things off with AFC West. And I'll tell you, that was a fun show. You start things off, of course, talking about the Chargers, Broncos, Raiders, and Chiefs. Finishing off with Bishop, of course, representing our Kansas City here on IE Sports Radio, talking all about them defending champs. Can they do the three-peat? We'll find out. But today we are switching gears on over to the East to talk about that AFC East team. How about them Bills? The Bills are a team that are certainly on a mission, but after being so depleted in the offseason, is there still hope? Well, we'll find out. Also, we're going to get plenty into those Patriots. How are Patriots fans looking right now? Are they optimistic, or are they like, hey, at least we're here? I don't know. Well, what are we looking at? Well, we're talking Mr. G. Dortch, of course, today about his Patriots. We'll be heading on down to the 305 to get into those Miami Dolphins with our boy JB and talking to New York Jets. Oh man, the story with those guys. Rodgers, is this going to be a complete season? Let's hope he stays uninjured. Let's see if this team can actually do something this year. And if he does stay healthy, if they stay healthy, how good are the Jets going to be? We'll be talking with Ricky today all about that. I mean, I'm excited. The Dolphins, once again, the same thing with Tua. If he stays healthy, what are we looking at? You know, this is an exciting division, you guys. Super ready to go for this one. Oh, man. Football's here, guys. Can you smell it? It's in the air, man. We are ready to roll. Training camps are starting this week. All kinds of awesome stuff is going down. And we are here for it all. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready, because a whole bunch of football is coming your way. You are now tuned in live to 3 and Out right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Welcome, football fans. How's everyone doing out there this morning? Hopefully really good. Man, this is day number 2. I'll tell you, these shows, there's a lot goes into them. So many hours of recording these interviews and everything over the weekend. But I'll tell you right now, they're so worth it. They're so much fun. And as long as you guys out there are enjoying them, that's what counts, right? So thank you all. Yesterday, my goodness, the viewers, the show is 3.5 hours long, but man, the amount of viewers was awesome, and I appreciate you guys. Yep, these shows are typically 3 to 3.5 hours, so if you're here, hopefully you're here for the long haul. If you're on your way to work, sweet. 7 a.m., just over 7 a.m. West Coast time, just over 10 a.m. East Coast time. So whether you're on your way to work, getting up in the morning, getting your morning coffee, I don't know, enjoying a vacation. I know teacher life right here, y'all. So, enjoying summer vacation, working out at the gym, whether you just finished at the gym, whether you're, who knows, at work, hiding from your boss listening to this, driving around for work. I don't know, whatever it is you're doing. Thank you so much for being here today and enjoying this show with me, because hey, I enjoy it too, man. This is a lot of fun. I love me some football, and that's what it's all about, right? So with that said, guys, we got so much to get into today. So grateful and thankful for everybody once again being here and being a part of this. If you're listening, of course, we have tons of recordings as well that you can catch on numerous platforms. So before we get into today's show, once again, it's going to be a great one. We got Ricky, of course, Ricky K of our New York show, New York State of Sports. He's going up first, talking about them New York Jets. So many questions there, right? But it's going to be a fun one talking with him. Great guy. Next up, we got JB of our Miami show. So many shows. Magic City Scoreboard. We'll be talking all about the Dolphins. Yeah, that's another team. If everyone can stay healthy, they're scary good. Okay. Then we head on back up north to the Northeast to talk about the Patriots with our boy D Dorch, the host of Beantown Blitz here on iSports Radio. He gives it to you pretty straight, tells you exactly how it is. But is there optimism this year? We'll find out, okay, as a Patriots fan. And then, of course, we finish things off with the team that just, oh man, you want to cheer for them, you really do. But did they desecrate themselves? Did they jack up their own season this year or this off season? Or is there really not much of a change? And is there still reason to be very optimistic for them Bills this year? We'll be talking to our very own Patty Backs of the Buffalo Huddle here on IE Sports Radio as well. So tons of great hosts, you guys. Tons of great interviews today. It's day 2, guys. We're right back at it. So once again, you are listening to 3 and Out. 8 divisions in 8 days. Day number 2, AFC week. AFC East day. Big shout out to the chat room, by the way. Thank you guys so much for being here, man. Big ups, Gen B. Talking to our boy Yukio right here. Gridiron over there in Japan. What time is it over there right now? It's like 10 o'clock at night over there right now, or like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. So, yeah, he's the man. He's the first person into our IE Sports Radio Hall of Fame 6 years ago. I mean, yeah, Yukio's the man. So, big ups to our boy Taryn Rodriguez, another fellow IE Sports Radio Hall of Famer. Yep, here we go, Taryn. Day number 2. We got 6 more to go, man. And, of course, big ups to Ralph, man. Oh, yeah, the AFC East is a lot of fun. Let's get to it, guys, and get to our sponsors first. So, well, a couple things. So, real quick, make sure to check us out all over the place. IE Sports Radio, X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We have a lot of fun on those things, posting up scores and all of our awesome snippets. Angela she's our GM of iSports Radio and the head of our PR department. So she does an amazing job putting up all these really cool snippets. So make sure you go check them out of all of our shows. She does an incredible job getting that done every day. Also, check us out. If you miss any of these shows, including this one, they get downloaded, guys, and it's just the voice only. We are available on all of these via Spreaker. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, of course, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music /Audible, Castbox, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, and Gio7, which I think I've learned how to say it correctly because of Adam. Thank you, the host of our Chicago show. So anyway, guys, make sure you check us out on our website as well. Super cool website, daily updated. I got to go update it right now, but a lot goes into getting this show ready, guys, so bear with me. But iSportsRadio.com, right here. Check us out, iSportsRadio.com/shop. Grab you some merch like what you see here. Also, check out all of our personal pages here on the website. iSportsRadio.com/3and out is mine. Make sure you check it out. Show us some love, man. There's all kinds of cool stuff on there. You'll see. You can learn a little bit more about us and everything. Also, make sure to follow this show on X at 3and Out IESR. And you can follow me, your boy Larry B, at the THEE_LB53. Okay, so check it out. And of course, big ups to our awesome, delicious sponsors. Yeah, I can say it. They're both delicious. I don't care. Pretty cool. I'm not going to eat wax, obviously, one of our sponsors, but but the other one's really cool. So we got our yummy one first. Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. The jerky that's on a whole other planet. Awesome, 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 delicious jerky. Check them out right here at Planet Jerky on Instagram. Also, make sure you order here, planetjerky.net. If you go to Planet Jerky on Instagram and mention that you heard these ads here on IE Sports Radio talking about their jerky, well, and then you make your order, they'll throw in a little gift for you while supplies last. Hopefully they've still got them. I got to talk to them. But you get a free bag of jerky, guys. I mean, come on now, man. And you can enjoy the jerky while listening to 3 and Out. I'm just saying, it is a great win-win, right? So awesome stuff there, sports fans, for you. And then, of course, Seal the Deal, Wax Seals, my beautiful wife, of course, doing her thing. Handmade wax stamps, super cool. Put them on the back of your graduation invitations. Put them on the back of your any letter you want to send out. Make it look nice. Baby shower invitations, wedding invitations. I know Angela's getting married soon to Fred, so really cool. Got those seals out to all of her people she's inviting. Super cool. It's a really, 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 really neat thing here that my wife does. So make sure to give her a follow at seal the deal underscore wax seals. And of course, make sure your order here 150 a piece, guys. Little things, $1.50. So isportsradio.com/seal the deal wax seals. Let her know what you want to whip up. Colors and all that good stuff. What color you want her to color it and everything, and she'll send them your way. So, with that said, guys, we're taking a brief mention here of our awesome sponsors. Hear a word from them. And then we get on with the show, starting off with the New York Jets and Ricky K. Here we go, guys. We're in for the long haul yet again, but it's going to be a fun one. You are listening to 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, day number 2, AFC East week, AFC week, AFC East day, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. When we come back, we're talking Jets with Ricky Keeler right after this.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
All you diehard football fans out there, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. All you diehard football fans out there, you have made it to day 2 of 8 divisions in 8 days, right here. Well, 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, right here on AFC week, on AFC East day, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Say all that 3 times fast. Anyway, with that said, you guys, yesterday was awesome. AFC West Day was a raising success. And here we are now on to day 2, where we get into the East. Obviously, as I mentioned in the introduction, we got those New York Jets. We are talking about the Miami Dolphins, the New England Patriots, and the Buffalo Bills. Well, to start things off here today, as we heard in the intro, we have ourselves our New York host. So glad to have him here talking about those New York Jets. He'll also be with us next week talking about the Giants. But, he has so much to say about these guys on his show, New York State of Sports. You can catch him every Thursday afternoon, morning, depending where you are in the country. But for those East Coasters out there, Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Awesome show, New York State of Sports, with good old Ricky K. With that said, let's go ahead and bring him on into this thing and get talking about them Jets, ladies and gentlemen. He, of course, is a diehard New York sports fan. Super cool dude. Glad to have him here, a part of IA Sports Radio. And here he is today to talk about those New York Jets who he covers here at IA Sports Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, Ricky K. What's going on?
How are you, Larry? Glad to be here to talk some Jets today. Let's do it.
Hey, brother, I'm glad to have you here today, man. I know it's the Jets are a fun topic. My gosh, they are fun. But I'm glad to have you here, man. Glad you were able to make it. And let's get into these guys, shall we? I mean, it's been a year. It was a year last year for these guys, but starting things off, man, the Jets last season, boy, were they something to watch, unfortunately. So let's just go ahead and start things off. Let's go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. Ricky, last year, man, the Jets, game one, we all knew that this was going to be a great game, right, Ricky? We all knew it. We all knew, September 11th, it's a very, day for us Americans to remember, unfortunately, that terrible tragedy. But it was a day where we were just like, hey, we're loving it. We're here. We're free. We got a great football game on that Monday night. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Two New York teams going head to head. We're taking on the Bills. Ricky, the first freaking play, or it might have been the second. I forgot now. But regardless, everyone was hyped up over the Jets, man. Everybody. Aaron Rodgers left Green Bay. It was the soap opera of the NFL. And, well, the soap opera is still going, actually. Snap is taken. Aaron Rodgers scrambles a little bit, gets hit, and that's it. Unfortunately, he will tear his Achilles. He's out for the season. And every hope that Jets fans had last year, every single hope that they were going to do this and do that and do this, it went right down the toilet. Now, they fought like hell in that first game. Oh, did they fight? Winning that game 22-16 in overtime over the Bills. Amazing game there for those guys. But then after that, it was like, can they redeem themselves? Can they play like that for Rodgers? No, it was not. That was a nice little victory to start the year off, and they would not get another win until October, where they would lose 3 straight. 1 to Dallas, New England, and of course the Chiefs in a heartbreaker there. They would head on the road to Denver, where they would defeat the Broncos and then actually defeat the Eagles at home. Go into the bye week, come back out, defeat the New York Giants. Sweet. Good for them. That's awesome. Okay. After that, you guys would head on over. Oh, that was an overtime game. Is this a turning the corner? It was turning the corner, Ricky, in a terrible way. They would lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games straight. October 29th all the way to December 10th. Losing skid right there, losing win drought, if you will, where they would defeat a very hot Houston team. Don't know how they even did that, but they did. On December 10th. Then they would go fall to the Miami Dolphins, win at home versus the Washington Commanders, head on the road to lose one more time to the Cleveland Browns, and then, of course, head on the road again. So that was the last home game once again versus the Washington Commanders, and then head on the road to where they would beat a New England team that was just like them, absolutely terrible. 17-13, though, they would win that game. Finishing off that season just horrendously. I mean, they did their best to finish off nice with the victory there. But Ricky, talk about that season last year, man. How was it? What do you think about those Jets, man? I don't know. Give us every raw emotion from last season as a Jets fan.
Well, it's like you were talking about. Once Aaron Rodgers goes down, it exposed the problem that Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh didn't address in the offseason, They didn't get a backup quarterback. They wanted Zach Wilson to learn under Aaron Rodgers. They thought that since Zach Wilson looked up to Aaron Rodgers, there'd be some kind of osmosis going on. And both the combination of Zach Wilson not having enough and the offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett not organizing a new offense around Wilson. It's like they kind of tried to run the Aaron Rodgers stuff with a different quarterback, and that just doesn't work. And when you have an offense that had to use not only Zach Wilson, but Tim Boyle and Trevor Siemian, that puts a lot on the defense. And you could tell this defense got frustrated at times. You could see some of these games on the screen. The Chief game, they were very competitive in. They held New England to 15 points in week 3, couldn't win. Held Atlanta to 13 points in December, couldn't win. Vegas, 16 points, couldn't win. And that has to demoralize the team because this defense has a lot of young talent on it. Like that, I don't think that's an issue with this team. It's really the offense and really just getting it up to speed. And they have to find a way in this day and age to put up 20 plus points a game, especially when in the AFC, when you're looking at playing Mahomes and Allen and Lamar Jackson and insert good quarterback here. The Bills game was great. Xavier Gibson getting the punt return for the touchdown in overtime was fantastic. They had the winning drive against the Giants. I mentioned being until late December one of the only teams to beat the Eagles was an accomplishment. I think seeing Breece Hall emerge healthy. Remember last year he did not get a healthy offseason. This year he does. And I think he's just going to establish himself as a top 3 running back in the game. I think have added some things offensively. Defensively, they should be fine. If they just get enough points, I think this defense will be able to pin their ears back and do some good things. So it really boils down to one move not being made last year that really cost this team that I don't think they accounted for when they should have.
You hit it on the head there, Ricky. The crazy part about it is you're right. Once Rodgers goes down, my gosh, I mean, look at this. It's just absolute failure. And it's true. You know, when you don't have a backup, that's at least somewhat of the caliber of the quarterback that's behind center to, you know, QB1. It's just going to end in horror. And at the end of the day, you're right, dude. The Jets defense is actually pretty damn good. But it's just the fact that, look, man, I have played on, I don't even want to admit it, but I've played on a few teams in my life where it's this story, Ricky, and it sucks. Okay. Oh, here we go. 3 and out. Let's start the game. Sweet. Yeah, we got the 3 and out to start the game. Sweet. Get the offense out there. Let me get the water bottle. Interception. Gosh damn it. Throw the water bottle. Get out there. Go. Here we go again. All right, here we go. Oh, they got a first down, damn it. All right, whatever. Boom. Ha, we picked it back. Yeah, baby. Go back to the sideline. All right, let me get that water again. Fumble. Oh, gosh damn it. Get out there. Play again. Boom, boom, boom. Do our thing out there. Got the ball back. Okay, here we go. Let me get back to the sideline, man. Where's that damn water? Here we go. Are you serious? Defense. Gosh damn it. So yeah, and it's like, dude, that starts to wear on you. You can do that for like 2 quarters, but dude, by halftime you're gassed because the offense can't get their crap together. They just keep falling apart out there. Before you know it, guys are just getting tired. Unfortunately, they start to score on us, even if it's field goals. Even if they're getting field goals, Ricky, you even score 1 field goal, you win the game because if your offense can't score. You know what I mean? Like, that's all there is to it, you know? So it's just, it sucks, man. And when you even the best defenses will be completely just on their butt when your offense can't do anything. So yeah, man, it's definitely not easy. So last year, just a complete tumbled and fell into the ocean, man, for the Jets. But yeah, man, so taking a look here at the offseason. All right, let's take a look here at this offseason and kind of get on into now without the draft, that is obviously because we'll get into the draft momentarily, but we do have here going all the way back to January. I mean, you guys waived Dalvin Cook. That was early on. I was still in the actual season, I believe. You know, you guys also released Uzama. That was in March. You signed Greg Zuerlein. Cool. Mike Williams signed. Re-signed Solomon Thomas, as you mentioned earlier. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place right now, but signing Jalen Holmes. There were some good picks here, man. Some good pickups here in free agency. But then, of course, we get into the draft, and we'll get into that momentarily. But my big one, I think, is definitely got to be, and let me find him real quick because, you know, this to me was pretty awesome. I don't know where he is. somewhere around here, but okay. Well, we will find him soon. Regardless, my big pickup, okay, Tyron Smith. I played against him in high school, one game, had a hell of a game. That was a lot of fun. Everybody kind of knew he was going to the NFL. He went to USC. They turned a big giant dude into an even bigger, more giant dude. He went to the Cowboys, spent plenty of years there, and now he's head on over to the Jets. I mean, just to basically end off his career, I believe there, and just awesome stuff there. But who do you think were your biggest offseason pickups, or even biggest departures for the Jets?
I would say definitely offensive line. And it's not even just Tyron Smith, which I think is a really good move because even though he might not play every game, it just brings you more stability on the left side. The Jets went out and they addressed the offensive line in whole. Whether it's not just Smith, they got Morgan Moses and John Simpson in trades. So now you have those three with Vera Tucker and Joe Tippmann at center. There's now more of a complete unit on the offensive line. And a lot of the problems Zach Wilson and these quarterbacks had was not all their fault. They didn't get time to throw. So now you have at least a healthy offensive line in front of Aaron Rodgers that provides that stability and everything starts up front. So I think the offensive line was big. I liked bringing in Mike Williams as a number 2. Alan Lazard was a major disappointment last year. They need something with Garrett Wilson. And well, Mike Williams is a boomer bust kind of guy. Mm-hmm. I think he makes a lot of sense for this team. I still think they need to do a little bit more, but they did help with that in the draft, which we'll get into. And the Hassan Reddick trade is interesting because this could go one of two ways. The Jets get a contract done and it goes swimmingly, and he's a guy that's going to help the pass rush, especially after losing Bryce Huff and John Franklin Myers. Or Reddick holds out, it gets crazy, and then the Jets just acquired a major headache, which that's another criticism of Joe Douglas. You've got to get that contract done once you make that trade. You look across with the Giants, they traded for Brian Burns, they got a contract done. And they avoided that catastrophe. The Jets did not. They took the word of Reddick that he would show up, and he didn't show up to mandatory minicamp along with Aaron Rodgers. So if Reddick signs, I think he could play a big factor because they do need some pass rush, but that could ultimately be a headache. But ultimately, I think if the one unit that I think the Jets addressed the most is offensive line, and they needed to help a 40-year-old quarterback off a bad Achilles.
And that's huge. That's huge, Ricky. That's so huge because, yeah, man, I mean, you need it, right? I mean, you have to protect him. You have to. I mean, look at Tom Brady, man. Tom Brady lasted for so many years, but it's because Bill surrounded him with an amazing offensive line every year. And I don't care what anybody has to say about Bill. Dude, I mean, yeah, look, there were lots of, I mean, I get it. I know he wasn't the best drafter and whatever. But at the end of the day, look, they had one hell of an offensive line, and you got to keep the guy healthy. You have the guy who's slinging the ball around, you got to keep him healthy. So absolutely, man, you got to go out there and make those picks. So, okay, getting into the draft now, man. This was definitely something. Let's go ahead and pull up that screen real quick. So, looking here at the draft, guys, start things off here. Okay, Fashanu, total beast. Right. Again, addressing the offensive line, as you already said, Ricky, you have to address the offensive line. Big boy out of Penn State comes on over with the 11th overall pick. Didn't have a second. Third round here, man. Malachi Corley, another weapon here for Rodgers. Wide receiver out of West Kentucky. Could be a utility guy, maybe even a returner. Dude is very, very, very fast. Solid player. Then fourth round here, Braylon Allen, running back out of Wisconsin. Some more insurance there in the backfield. Jordan Travis, quarterback out of Florida State. Hey, once again, depth. We need to give in case anything happens, right? And then, of course, a couple later on guys, well, it's still the fifth round. So Isaiah Davis, running back out of South Dakota State, solid FCS school, the Jacks, man. You guys got a very value pick there, I think. A guy that can maybe really, really come through. One of those smaller school guys that will surprise everybody. Stiggers, of course, you have him. Corner out of the CFL, which is pretty cool. Thought that was pretty neat. Dude coming out of from the Toronto Argonauts. And then, of course, Jalen Key, safety out of Alabama. So, yeah, just some later round guys, we always know, depending on all that stuff there, who will make the team, who won't, later round guys. But regardless, definitely some insurance picks there. What do you think overall about the draft, Ricky?
I liked what Joe Douglas did, particularly in the first round. It's not just the Fashanu pick. It was the fact that they were able to maneuver the board and take advantage of Minnesota looking for JJ McCarthy to kind of go acquire more things. And I think that's a big plus for them, both for now and then later getting a third rounder for next year, having two of those to kind of maneuver if they have to make a deal this year to help the team. But Fashanu's going to be big because, I mean, he is a big man at Penn State, but he's a guy who's going to help this pass rush, this pass protection. And he's also probably has to improve at pass protection, but he's a good run blocker. And in order for Aaron Rodgers to get that time and get the play action, you've got to get the run game going. So at least you start Fashanu there. I love the Malachi Corley pick because I think he's got good upside. Guy that mentioned can run after the catch, speed, can kind of put him in the slot, do some different things with him, get creative, some jet sweeps. I think that helps. Braylon Allen in round 4. Anytime you get a Wisconsin running back, you take a Wisconsin running back because more often than not, they work out. So I think trying to find that backup to Breece Hall, spare some reps. Allen could kind of be that between the tackles guy, which they could use. And Jordan Travis is interesting to me. And I don't think he's going to get a lot of time this year because, of course, you got Rodgers. And if Rodgers goes down, I think one of the things you didn't address earlier is getting Tyrod Taylor to be the backup. He's one of the more reliable backups in the league. They're going to win some games if he is a quarterback. What I loved about Jordan Travis in college is the leadership. And it's not even when he played. It's the fact that you told when he was down and just when he was on that Achilles thing and he was on the sideline motivating his team. Those guys wanted to play for him, finish the undefeated season for him. So there's kind of that leadership element that he already has. And as he continues to grow, because his last year at Florida State, he was a Heisman Trophy caliber kind of player until he got hurt. And I think Florida State would have did some damage in the playoff if he was there. So he's a very good decision maker. 2 interceptions last year, so he did a good job maneuvering the football around. And I think just having that kind of intangible in your locker room can go a long way. So under the radar, I like the Travis pick, but this draft ultimately defined for Douglas by what Fashanu does and what Malachi Corley does in round 3, being that he didn't have a second round pick.
These are certainly some great pickups there, man. I love it. Lots of value in those, and you're absolutely right, man. Jordan Travis, just what a dude, right? So you're right. You want to develop that. You want to develop that that kind of walk around. And overall, I feel like the draft is pretty solid, man. What would you say? I mean, I know you may not be a grader kind of guy, but overall, I don't know. Do you want to give it a grade, or what do you really think about the Jets draft as a whole?
I think give it a B. I can't really go quite A because it's tough to tell what these guys are, but I think they made some solid picks. I think getting 2 running backs in the back end kind of get some competition going and doing some things there. There wasn't really a thing, though, where I'd be like, yeah, I think the Jets should have did this. We all knew at 11 they needed to get either a tackle or find a way to get some offensive help. They had to address the offense in this draft, and they did that. Most of the time, they were usually using defensive-oriented drafts, but they kind of know where their bread is buttered this year. But there wasn't really an, oh, my gosh, they should have picked player X. So because of that, I won't go A, but I think a solid B for Joe Douglas. I think he did pretty good considering his past history of drafts. He usually gets the offensive line right. He's known as an offensive line evaluator. So with the depth of offensive line in his class, he kind of knew what he wanted from the beginning and went after it.
And that right there is solid, Ricky. So, okay, we got into the last season, got into this season, well, the off season, got into the draft, and well, now it's time to talk about this season, Ricky. Okay. You said it already this past week on New York City Sports. I thought it was pretty sweet because you're like, we're going to really get in a football show next week. That'd be pretty cool with the Giants and with the Jets. Obviously, I don't know if you're going to be going over the schedule either for both those teams. But I will say this. Training camp, of course, officially underway. We're getting it. Here we go. This is it, man. The finished product is yet to be seen, but the finished schedule is here. And not an easy game to start the year, but it's Rodgers. So there you go. Then, of course, heading on over to Tennessee, 2 road games to start the year. Then, in exchange for those 2 road games where you don't even get your home opener until Thursday Night Football versus the New England Patriots, you get 1, 2, 3, 4 home games in a row all the way until October 20th, October 14th, which is pretty sweet. Then it's a 2-game on the road there, Pittsburgh and New England. Then, of course, it is the Houston Texans at home, heading on over to Arizona. take on the Cardinals on the road, then back home, kind of flip-flop there for a little bit, but the Colts are home. Then the bye week, kind of nice. Trust me, the player, it's very nice too, knowing that. A home, bye week, home. That's always a great formula there. Lots of rest. Then we have Miami on the road, Jacksonville on the road, taking on the Rams at home, heading over to Buffalo one more time on the road right before the new year, and then right into the new year, week 18, Miami at home. This is I don't know. This schedule can go so many ways, obviously. I mean, obviously that's the entire NFL, right? You don't know one week from the next, injuries or whatever. But Ricky, looking at the schedule, what do you think in this year for the Jets? How do you feel?
I think the Jets should be a playoff team. And if they aren't a playoff team, then the head coach has to go and the GM has to go. Because you don't get Aaron Rodgers, and albeit last year only playing 4 plays, but for 2 years essentially, and not make a postseason with him, you didn't make the trade to do that. I think their schedule is very favorable. Yes, they start at the Niners, but you look at weeks 2 through 5, you could potentially get Will Levis, Jacoby Brissett or Drake May, potentially Bo Nix or Zach Wilson, and J.J. McCarthy or Sam Darnold in London. That should be at least 3 wins, if not 4. The Bills, they play Buffalo pretty tough, especially at home. Pittsburgh, do they get Russell Wilson or Justin Fields? Then they get potentially Brissett or May again. So the quarterbacks matchups are a little bit better for the Jets this time. I think defensively they should be able to match up better. What's going to be interesting is where the Jets are after the bye week, because those last 6, with the exception of maybe Seattle, is a really tough gauntlet, and then 3 of those are on the road. So they're going to have to find a way to balance that out and have at least some kind of a cushion. I think getting Arizona and Indianapolis in the schedule, again, Kyler Murray and maybe Anthony Richardson, mobile quarterbacks. We'll see what happens there. This defense is good enough to steal some games. They could steal one of those Bills games. They could steal the Houston game. And again, they're on primetime a lot. They were on primetime a lot last year. Looked worse because they didn't have the guy that was supposed to be the primetime draw. And even the NFL said, we kind of wanted to take advantage of that again and try it again. Why, I have no idea. But they have set themselves up at least. This team should be a 9-10 win team, and I would think that's good enough to make a postseason, even in a crowded AFC, because if the defense stays the same, which they should, and they get a much more improvement offensively, even a marginal improvement offensively, they would be able to steal 3 or 4 games they didn't get last year, and they won 7 games a year ago. They should definitely be at least a 3 or 4 win improvement at Rodgers, and to me that equals maybe, if it's not a division title, they at least get into the postseason.
And to me, that is huge, Ricky. That's exactly what you would think. You're right. You don't go get Rodgers and just not be a playoff team. You're right. He only played 4 plays, so it was 4th place. Sorry, he only played 4 plays in last season. All goes well. He's healthy this year. Yeah, it's Rodgers. Okay. Yeah, he's a little older, but it doesn't matter. Look at Brady. Okay. This is another guy that he also wears 12, another dude that he has been that dude for a team for many years. So yes, you obviously know that Rodgers is going to do his thing. And yeah, so you're absolutely right. Especially with that defense, the Jets should absolutely be a playoff team, but we shall see. Now, moving on into this last segment, this is a fun one too, because of obviously, you cheer on the Patriots as well. You're all up there in the New England area, Ricky. I mean, well, not New England area, but close to it. You're a Northeast guy, which is pretty cool, man. So, Ricky, this is always a fun segment, man. One of my favorites. I've been doing this show for 8 years now, man. This segment gets funner every year. Obviously, there's 3 other teams in the division that you'll love to hate. One of them, not so much. The other 2, but I'm sure we have some things to say about the Patriots for dang sure, because they need to get their stuff together. But with that said, Ricky, talk to us, man. 3 other teams in the division. How do you think they will do this season? And, well, at least for a few of them, tell us how you really feel. Ricky K, it is your time, good sir. Stick it to them.
Well, I think definitely the bottom half is the Patriots. And look, that's just the way the Jets actually finally beat the Patriots last year, which I think if that's maybe you didn't want to beat the Patriots because you didn't want them to get a franchise quarterback, but you got the win in the snow with Breece Hall. Patriots are in rebuild mode. Gerard Mayo, I think, is going to do some good things. You'll see Drake May, maybe not when the Jets play them, but somewhere down the road. But those are now 2 wins. If you're the Jets, you should get. because that's the only gimme in this division. So Patriots, they now I think back at ground zero. We'll see if they get Brandon Ayuk in a trade or something, but right now nowhere near in contention to win. Dolphins, interesting. We're going to find out a lot about Tua. What is Tua Tagovailoa? You now have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. They lost a lot on defense. This is a Dolphin team that really when they played Tim Boyle on Black Friday last year, you think the Jets are going to actually have Rodgers for both those games this time and make it more of a competitive effort. And I'm really concerned about the defense for Mike McDaniel. I think the Dolphins lost a lot of talent on that side of the football. We'll see if they can improve over there, but the Jets should take advantage there. Buffalo is the intriguing one for me. Losing Stephon Diggs, what is Josh Allen? It's not the Josh Allen that made deep throws galore without Diggs and couldn't convert any of them in his first couple of years, but now you lose that safety blanket. What exactly is Josh Allen? You paid him a lot of money for that reason. I think the Bills lost a lot through their cap casualties. As I mentioned earlier, the Jets tend to compete well with Buffalo. I think they could steal one of those games. And I think especially at home, they've got that opportunity. So I do think this division has 2 or 3 really solid teams. I could see this division getting 3 teams into the postseason. But I'm more interested in seeing what the Jets, with a healthy roster, do against this caliber of competition, because we didn't get those show me games or prove it games. These are prove it games. You want to be a playoff team? You split with Buffalo. You split with Miami. Heck, you might try to play to sweep. I would think out of the 2, you're probably more likely to sweep Miami, because you never know what that January game at the end of the year might mean. And we're not really sure what the coaching match was like between Saleh and McDaniel, 2 guys familiar with that Niners coaching system. But division's good. But the Patriots, those are 2 wins you have to get. I think whichever team does the best against the Patriots is going to probably win this division. But I think this division is 2 teams max, getting the 2 teams in the postseason, at most 3, and a good shot at maybe getting 3, depending on what else shakes out.
Well done, Ricky. Way to. That was a very informative stick it to him. That was there was some stuff in there, but then there was also some really good logic. Oh, that was really good. I love that. So, Ricky, always, man, great stuff there, brother. That will conclude this segment, dude. What a way to end it. Lots of great stuff there. Once again, follow this guy, man, at New York State Sports, obviously doing New York State Sports here on IE Sports Radio, covering all these awesome New York sports and New Jersey. And of course, Ricky, where can they find you on Twitter, man? There, and obviously.
Yep, at Rickedator555 on Twitter, X, all that fun stuff. Feel free to chat with me. We're going to have some good things again. Training camp episode coming up this week, and some college. We're going to do Syracuse, Rutgers, and some Army football, which should be a lot of fun. So we'll check that out as well.
You can't forget about West Point, man. Oh my gosh, one of my favorite games of all time is obviously the Navy, Army, Navy, however they say it, because if you say it one way or the other, somebody's getting mad. So I love it. It's just, it's great stuff. Looking forward to that. Ricky, it's been fun, man. That was really cool starting off this show with you here today, talking about those New York Jets. You'll be back with us, of course, talking about them New York Giants over there on your shoulder, over there on your left shoulder. Yeah. We'll be talking about them New York Giants next week when we talk about the NFC. But he's glad to have you, man. Once again, if you guys want more Ricky, trust me, everybody does. He covers these teams so well, so much knowledge. Amazingly well put together shows. Check him out once again here Thursday afternoons, 2 p.m. Eastern. Show him some love, man. Give him a follow here, and that will be that. So, Ricky, thanks again, brother. We appreciate you, man. That was a lot of fun. That's it, guys. We are started off now. We are 1 team in to the AFC East. We are now 5 teams into the AFC. Coming on up next, we are heading on over down south to Miami. That's right, y'all. It's the 305, as Pitbull would say. We're heading on over to Miami to talk about them Dolphins. Well, let's see how that goes. Let's have some fun with that and keep on enjoying this. You are listening to 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, right here on AFC Week on IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back talking Dolphins after this.
What's up, New York? This is Ricky K coming at you at the NY State of Sports, a new show here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Listen to me every Thursday afternoon as we bring you the latest takes on the Yankees, Mets, Jets, Giants, Knicks, Nets, Rangers, Devils, and Islanders. Plus, you get some college hoops and what's the local sports events going on in the area. It's a state that never sleeps, so why not get the opinions and sports takes that never sleep? Again, every Thursday, 2 p.m. to the NY State of Sports. We'll see you then.
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernan, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back, football fans. Here we go yet again. Segment number 2 of AFC East Day here on 3 and Out. 8 divisions in 8 days. AFC Week, day number 2. 8 divisions in 8 days. Overall, day number 2 out of 8 days, obviously. So we're rolling along. We just spoke to Mr. Ricky K, the host of our New York show here on IE Sports Radio, New York State of Sports. And he told us all about them Jets, his expectations, and obviously how he thinks they'll be looking with Rodgers this year. But there's a team that he just talked about on Stick It To Him that, well, they're pretty darn good. Okay. Miami's so good that I understand there's a fan base of Dolphins fans in pretty much every place I've known. It's kind of weird. I didn't even know there was a fan base in Houston. There was a fan base in New York. There's a fan base in Seattle. I know. I of course, doing this show, I've talked to fans all over the place, and it's crazy. Sometimes they'll tell me, there's a big Dolphins fan base here. And I know there's one down here in SoCal for sure. So
I'm in contact with them. My brother went to the Chargers game, the one that was on Sunday night when the referees robbed us. But I told him about the SoCal fan base, and there's a North Cal fan base too, a NoCal fan base also.
Thank you, man. People love you guys, man. So
they should.
Dolphins are everywhere. So as you can see, y'all, he didn't need no introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, here to help me talk about those Miami Dolphins. Starting up today is the second team once again. We just got through the Jets. We're making our way over down south to Miami, talking with our boy. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the host of Magic City Scoreboard here on IE Sports Radio. Welcome, my boy, Mr. JB. What's going on, JB? How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. And like I said, there should be no time. I'm waiting for the applause. There should be no time where we under the Jets. No time.
JV is insulted right now. He's
so, number 2? No.
JB, let's get with it, brother. So, starting things off, man, last season for the Dolphins, oh, man, of course, having you a part of the network, brother, we hear all of your emotions, and I love it, man. We get to see all of your tweets and everything, and, man, look at last season here, man. This was definitely something, man. Last year started off the season 3 wins, man, 3-win streak. It was just really cool. 2 on the road versus the Chargers and the Patriots, and then of course 1 at home versus Denver. Tough loss there to Buffalo, man. Y'all, it was a tough one. Got beat down in that game, but you didn't let that phase you. 2 more games at home, 2 victories versus the Giants and the Carolina Panthers. Then obviously heading on over to Philly. Didn't end so well. Tough loss there. But then, same exact score just a week later. You guys defeat New England at home. Lose a tough one there to the Chiefs at home. Going into your bye, then you guys would, head, which is nice. It's home, bye week, home. Home. And, well, this was a tough one for me, but it was a great game, man. My Raiders played a great game in that one. You guys just got the better of us. Really good game there versus the Raiders, which capped off another 3-game win streak where you guys would also beat the Jets and the Commanders on the road next. Then losing a tough one to Tennessee at home, then going on a 2-game win streak again, defeating the Jets, sweeping them obviously, and then defeating the Cowboys, which was a really big game for you guys on Christmas Eve. Then, unfortunately, you guys would lose on finish off the season on a 2-game losing streak, getting beat pretty bad by Baltimore on New Year's Eve, and then a tough loss to Buffalo in week 17, in week 18 at home. The Dolphins would then go on to that wild card round where unfortunately you guys would fall 26-7 to the Chiefs. And unfortunately, that is where the season would end. JB, please give us every raw emotion as a Dolphins fan last year, man.
The first quarter was great. That 70-point game against Denver. All the losses to the so-called top teams. And again, it looks bad, but like every time we play those top teams, we had injury issues, especially with the O-line. Yeah. And the difference was those top teams had great defensive line. And to go against our injured O-line, it just didn't look good. It just didn't look good. And then towards the end of the season, where basically everybody was hurt. We had 6 starters gone from the defense, 1 starter basically on the O-line, which was Austin Jackson, and Tyreek Hill was injured. Jalen Waddle missed the last 3 games. Raheem most missed the last 3 games. It was just not our time. As I said, the football gods did not want us to be good last year. I mean, somebody was praying. Buffalo was praying to the football gods because that last game was ridiculous.
Yeah, Buffalo, man, they ended up tough, and, man, that team got desecrated this last offseason. But we'll get into that later on. JB, that was a tough one, man. We can close the door on that segment and, of course, on last year, man. The Dolphins, like I said, the Dolphins last year, it wasn't that bad. It's just the injuries really got you. That was a tough one. But the Dolphins last season, it wasn't – look, I wouldn't say it was a complete failure, JB, because, honestly – this is a good football team still. The Dolphins are still a very good football team and healthy. And now that they're going to be healthy, they are going to be somebody to watch every week.
That's a big if. That's a big if because they re-signed everybody else that got hurt. So, I mean, like Isaiah Wynn, he always had injury problems, and he got injured again last year, and they re-signed him. And so,
JB said, "Get rid of that fool, man."
No. I just say get rid of him.
I can play it. I can say a win. It sucks though. That's right, man. The injuries and especially injury-prone players, it sucks, man.
Yeah. So we just gotta, pray. I mean, just hope everybody stays healthy. Or if they get injured during the first quarter of the season and come back healthy, so that way we can make that run. Similar to what Buffalo did. They had a lot of injuries during the beginning of the season, and everybody got healthy. And they made their run. I hated it, but it is what it is.
They did, but it's all good. Like I said, man, it's something no one says you guys can't do that. So on to the off season, JB. Here we go, man. We are here now talking about that off season, and boy, this was there were some moves made, obviously going all the way back into January. We see here a couple moves made here. You guys released Fangio, which was, pretty big there. Releasing Agba. I mean, there was some hirees there. You guys now take Anthony Weaver, and he's named the defensive coordinator. So, I mean, you guys released Xavier Howard. You signed Seren Neal. So, I mean, some coming out. You signed Cam Brown. That was pretty big, Taylor Tart. But before we get into the draft, obviously, what would you say, man? I mean, you talked about Isaiah Wynn. He's right there, as you can see on the transactions. What would you say, man? What were some big moves? What were some moves that you were hoping that they made and they did? Or some moves that you didn't want them to make? Tell us about the offseason, man.
All right. The move I was hoping they make was signing Calais Campbell.
Oh.
We lost Christian Wilkins to your Raiders.
Yeah.
And Christian Wilkins gambled on himself, and he won big time.
Yeah.
As a Raiders fan, you're gonna love him. You're gonna love Christian Wilkins. He's honest. He plays all three downs. He's gonna be missed. He was a great. I love Christian Wilkins. I was sad to see him go. But he gambled on himself, and he won. As the Raiders fans are gonna love him. So that was a sad point, losing him. But hey, Raiders I say they overpaid, but hey, it is what it is. Kendon Fuller was a great signing, I believe, because we lost Xavier Howard, and we got another DB who should fit well in Anthony Weaver's system. We signed Marcus May, another safety. He played for Tennessee last year, but he's well known for his New Orleans days at safety, and Jordan Poyer. So from Buffalo, if you got to beat him, take somebody from him.
Yeah.
And so we signed Jordan Poyer, Odell Beckham Jr. We were hoping that we would get, and we got him. So that he'd be the third guy. So that means, and he could easily be number 2. So if anybody gets hurt, you could slide. Like happened last year when Walter got hurt, we didn't have anybody that could fill in the role as a number 2 who could get open. Now we have somebody who could be a great number 3 and a good number 2. And on the defense, we signed the middle line. We let go. I forgot it. I need to take some more Omega-3. We let go our middle linebacker, Baker. And then we signed Brooks from Seattle. So he should be an upgrade, and he fits Anthony Weaver's system also because he's a linebacker who can cover. Baker, he had his flaws on that, and so he can cover. And so I'm just Shaq Barrett. Of course, Jalen Phillips and Chubb might not play the first month of the season, and so Shaquille Barrett should hopefully fill in the void until they get back. And so, I mean, we did a lot, and we signed about 20 defensive tackles to replace Christian Wilkins. So
that's how much it takes to replace him, man.
Yeah, yes. We need 20 tackles. So hopefully 5 or 6 will emerge as good defensive tackles. Because you cannot replace what he. I know the numbers don't say it because he was not a top sack producer, but we have a defensive tackle who had over 90 tackles. I mean, you can't beat that.
No, that's not easy.
That's not. Yes, he's always in on. He has a motor. He's chasing down plays. Even if you get by him, he's gonna run you down. You're gonna love him. You are gonna love him.
I love him already, man.
You're gonna love him. Like I said, I mean, when I heard it hurts me that he left. When I heard that he got signed for that much money, I'm like, shit, Dolphins ain't gonna match that. And I'm pretty sure he knew that too. And it was like, man.
That is painful, man. Especially having the defensive line myself. I mean, just loving that whole art of the defensive line. It's true, man. This man plays so technical. I'm so happy he's a Raider now. And I know I said, I'm sorry, JB, that's a tough one. Him and Max Crosby, I'm so excited to have them together.
You're gonna make it easy for Max Crosby.
It's gonna be fun.
if you go on single coverage, Christian Wilkins, he's going to eat that guard all day.
Yeah,
He's going to have lunch. It's going to be lunch all day with him.
He's gonna have lunch. I love that. I'm excited, man. I really am. So, JB, brother, we got into that offseason, man, and now let's go ahead and jump on in to this draft. Now, I will say this: the draft is always this. It's a crapshoot sometimes. But man, look, you lost. I understand, Christian Wilkins, tough loss there. But you know what, man? Chop is pretty good, man. You guys would go ahead and draft Chop Robinson, edge rusher out of Penn State. Then you went ahead in the second round, Patrick Paul, big offensive tackle out of Houston. He's actually a very solid player. I've seen a lot of him. I really do believe he will be a very big asset to you guys. I mean, 6'7", 300 pounds, the big boy, man. He started tons of games at Houston. He's pretty solid. Then in the fourth round, he doesn't have a third. You guys, Jalen Wright, running back out of Tennessee. Also, Muhammad Kamara, edge out of Colorado State. Obviously, the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh rounders, guys that probably practice squad members or, maybe not make the team regardless. But regardless, maybe some depth depending on how things fold out. But Malik Washington, wide receiver out of Virginia. Patrick McMorris, safety out of Cal. And one of my guys, man, Taj Washington. He made it. I'm a SC guy, man. So I'm really, really happy he made he got drafted. Hopefully he can make this roster. I think he's going to do really, really big things, maybe even as a returner. But yeah, man. So overall, what do you think, man? How do you think your Dolphins did in this draft?
I'm a fan, so we always hope they knock it out the park every single time. But I won't know until they play. Chop Robinson, everybody issue was he only had 3 sacks. The whole entire season. And that's what everybody's issue was production. Mm-hmm. But he ran a 4.4 and a 40. You can't teach that. Mm-mm. You cannot teach 4.4. Jada Phillips went at 4.5, and Jada Phillips had same thing, was production problem, and you see how he turned out to be. Yeah. I guess Anthony Weaver is known to develop defensive linemen and linebackers. So that's his job, to get the production out of them. That bend that Chop Robinson has, you can't coach. Now you just gotta show him some other moves. Patrick Paul only gave up 2 sacks in his career. 2 sacks. And I know that he played in the Conference USA, he played for Houston, but as you know, when you Houston, you always play top competition. Oh, yeah. The first couple of games. And for him to only give up 2 sacks in his career, even though he played Texas A&M. They played, a couple of SEC teams, and he only gave up 2 sacks throughout his career. And 6'7", 330 pounds, you can't coach.
No.
You cannot coach.
Having lunch himself.
Yeah. You can't coach. Jalen Wright is another back that, from what I hear, Mike McDaniel wanted. And he's that type of running back, one cut, and he's to the house. And another 4.3 guy, that's Mostert, A-Shane, and now we got him as the speed guys. And for the highlights I've seen in Tennessee, look, he one cut and he's off to the races. He's a between the tackle type runner. He's going to fit the system just well. And Muhammad Kamara is another guy. And I watched the Colorado State game, and I saw him took over that game. Throwing tackles. Now, granted, Colorado had bad offensive linemen, but he made them look even worse. He was throwing tackles into the quarterback. He had 13 sacks last year, 13 and a half last year, actually. And to tell me that the only problem with him was he was 6'1". That was his problem. Hey, believe me, I'm glad they got him. And again, Anthony Weaver is a great D-line coach, and he develops a lot of players. And that's his calling card. And so there you go. Go ahead and develop him. Mm-hmm. As an ACC guy, Malik Washington was a thorn on the Hurricane side every time they played him. Mm. Couldn't cover him. And he makes tough catches. And so I was glad that the Dolphins drafted him. And also Taj Washington, which he got injured during off-season workout, so he won't be practicing for the first I don't know how long. But he's injured, so hopefully that don't deter him from making the team. But they love him. Oh, they wouldn't have drafted him, and so I have high hopes for the Dolphins and the safety. What's his name again? The safety they drafted.
Of course.
The name, because I know he's the coach's son. He's the coach's son. He's the secondary coach son for the Miami Dolphins.
The McMorris?
Yes.
Yeah. Patrick, right there on the screen. Yeah, Patrick McMorris.
Yes, he's the coach's son.
That's crazy. I know that.
I know they didn't draft him for that purpose only, because he had to do something for them to see. But he's a secondary coach son, and he's a secondary, so he should know a lot about the secondary. Of course, Anthony Weaver brought him in, so that is what it is. I'm excited about this draft class because they drafted specific needs. They drafted a lot of secondary help, a lot of slot receiver help, and a lot of pass rusher help. And so, hopefully, if some pan out, they're going to be great. They also they signed some 6'9" tackle from Dominican Republic. He played power forward for Baylor. And so he played on the basketball team for Baylor last year. He never played football, but he's 6'9", 340 pounds. And so he's from Baylor. And so he's from the Dominican Republic also. And so they signed him. They gave him the most guaranteed money ever for undrafted free agent. And so
that's crazy.
So they're trying because obviously Teron Armstead said was thinking about retirement, and this is his last year of guaranteed money. And so I think they're preparing for the departure of Teron Armstead, and that's why they drafted Patrick Paul. So goodness gracious, man. I hope like Chop Robinson, he's going to get thrown into the fire immediately, because even though Jaden Phillips is practicing, he's running full speed. He's doing all these drills. I mean, when I used to play Madden, I used to create players, and when I'm looking at Jaden Phillips, I said he's the player that I used to create all the time. Because 6'5", 4'4", 250 pounds, solid. And that's who I used to create. But, he's not going to play. Dolphins not going to rush him, man. Achilles could be tricky. And so Chop Robinson is going to get thrown into the fire. First opportunity he gets. So we're gonna see all first quarter about Chop Robinson.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited for all. Speaking of getting thrown into the fire, man, here we go. Like, let's just get it, man. You got me hyped up for next season. I'm so ready to rock and roll, man. We're looking at this season, JB.
I'm ready.
This is it, man. I know you already seen it. You probably have this either printed and put it on your wall somewhere. Maybe it's a background on your phone. I don't know where it is, but I know you have this schedule somewhere, man. It might just be locked in the head right here. I don't know, but this is it, man. Here we go. Starting things off with Jacksonville. Obviously, you guys have the AFC East, your conference, but I mean your division. But looking like you guys are playing the AFC, who is this? The AFC South, obviously, and the NFC North, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's not the NFC North. It is the AFC West, I believe. So, yeah, look at that, man. You guys got some solid teams in here, man. Obviously, we're going to see what happens with Buffalo. But once again, they had some big hits this year. Jacksonville, man, we're going to see what they're made out of. I mean, that's a good first game there because we don't know what you're going to expect from Jacksonville ever. You got the Raiders in there, which is pretty cool. Wilkins used to play his old team. That's a team that's they're on the up and up, but Dolphins are definitely a couple notches better right now. But we have a lot of good stuff going on, man. I mean, really, we have some solid teams here on the schedule. Houston for sure, the Niners. What are you thinking for this season, JB? What do you think you guys are gonna look like?
13-4.
Hey,
13-4. And that's all healthy, obviously. Listen, that second half of the season, especially the last 6 games, is going to be tough. But I really believe if you fix the offensive line, the cold weather shouldn't be a factor. And I really believe that. That's why I'm harping. And if you listen to my show, I keep talking about the offensive line. Hopefully they got enough money on the side cap still to find someone in the offensive line that can help them fix the offensive line, and you're gonna fix your cold weather woes. It's like 13. Like I said, I think they're better than most of the teams they play. All right. The AFC East, there's only one team to worry about, the AFC East, and that's it. I'm not worried about the Jets, and I'm not worried about the Patriots. Only one team is Buffalo Bills. That is our measuring stick. And we're going to measure ourselves on week 2, Thursday night. Houston's going to be a really good game. Actually, I'm going to that game. So that's our guy strip. And just who else we play? We played Cleveland in December also. And Cleveland got a really good defense. The 49ers. That's gonna be another measuring stick game. That's gonna be also a big game. So I think we're gonna lose 4 games. I believe we're gonna lose 4 games. No more than 5.
And that's saying a lot for a very solid team like this, man. That's just saying that you really believe in this team. That just goes to show you that this team is showing you guys something that you truly can grasp onto and say, no, I can put my hat on that. That makes total sense. So yeah, hey, that's good, man. I like that a lot, brother. So I like that. That's some good stuff. I believe this team is good enough to win over 13 games, and you definitely you have the right. I think you have the right. What am I talking about?
Roster
outlook. Well, also the right roster, but yeah, you have the right outlook as a team because you can see how good they are, how good they were last year. If they can stay healthy, this team can do anything, man. So
that's a big if. And like I said, they signed the same people. They re-signed the same people that got hurt. So it's like, and they all had injury problems before.
yeah.
And so it's like, ugh. But that's why they drafted the way they drafted, because Patrick Paul. I'm sorry, I think he's going to get a lot of action at guard during training camp. And it started for the rookies this week.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're going to practice. They're going to teach him a lot at guard, so that way he can be interchangeable, just in case somebody gets injured. And so that's what I like. I wish they would have signed a veteran guard. But I'm not the GM.
I got it.
And so that's injury is the most important thing, is if they're going to stay healthy. If they're healthy, then oh my goodness,
that's the big one, man. So
yeah.
You were here last year. You know this little segment we like to call Stick It To 'Em. Have some fun, man. There's 3 other teams in this division that you love to hate. You already kind of just wrote off 2 of them. And there's the other one you just, mentioned. So, as always, be professional, but have some fun, talk some crap, do your thing. But let us know, man, how do you think those other 3 teams are going to do this season? And, of course, do not hesitate. Let us know how you really feel. Without further ado, JB, stick it to 'em.
The Bills, I hate with a passion. Okay, and it's not a bad hate; it's a respect hate. Okay, with the Bills, all right, and that is our measuring stick. Okay, we took from them, so we weakened them, but they still got a good a good front 7. Milano's still there, Rousseau is still there, Espinosa's still there. Who's they D tackle? One from University of Houston. I forgot his name, but their front 7 is still great.
Yeah.
Their front 7 is still great. All right. So that's who we got to beat. It's Buffalo. I hate them, but that's who we got to beat. The Jets, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Namath, I don't care. The Jets is going to be the Jets. They're always going to be the Jets. Okay. I'm not worried about the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, I think he's washed, and he's doing a lot of window, a lot of showboating, a lot of window dressing. Jets fans, if you think he's gonna be your savior, I'm sorry. I am sorry. It's gonna be another long season for y'all. All right, but y'all should be used to it already because you chose to be Jets fans. I don't know why you chose the Jets fan. You have two teams in New York, and y'all chose the Jets. Doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make sense. And there's three teams actually in the state. You could have choose Buffalo, but y'all chose the Jets. And so y'all get what y'all deserve. Y'all get the suffering, and y'all. That's it. I like to talk about Jets. They like to talk about their defense and Sir Hold a lot. The defensive back. What's his name? Sauce. So he holds every single time. The only defensive player I respect is Quentin Williams. I mean, he's great. Everybody else is overrated. I hope they don't fire Salah. I mean, he's a good coach. He's all right. Well, the Jets, I'm not worried about the Jets. I'm definitely not worried about the Patriots. Tua owns them. Since he got that, he haven't lost to them. And I know the Patriots fans always tell me 7 Super Bowls. Yeah, all right, okay. Y'all got 7 Super Bowls. God bless, but y'all ain't gonna see another one for the next 75 years. So enjoy them 7 Super Bowls because y'all will not see another one for the 75 years until the turn of the century. So enjoy it. It will be 20. It's gonna be 21 something before y'all see another Super Bowl. All right, guys. Maybe the meteor to hit the world. Y'all not winning the Super Bowl ever again. All right, y'all got your 7. I mean 6. Not even 6 because Tom Brady got 7. 6 Super Bowls. Y'all got it. Enjoy it because you're never going to see one again. And that's what the AFC East is going to come down to: Miami and Buffalo. That's it.
And the applause button has been hit. Oh my goodness, JB, that was awesome, man. Way to stick it to him. Way to get in there, man. Way to talk about them Jets. Well, way to talk about the Jets. That was pretty funny. But way to talk about them Dolphins today. And
Thank you.
And that was awesome, brother. Of course, make sure you follow our boy JB, man, Rick's Camp 305 right here on X, as well as Magic City _IASR, man. Once again, he is the host of Magic City Scoreboard here at IE Sports Radio. Catch him every Thursday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern time, man. He's not going to leave you disappointed. Always does a great job. But JB, thanks again, man, for being here. I appreciate your time today, man. Thank you so much. And that is going to do it, man. So any last thoughts or words before you're out of here?
You're going to love Christian Wilkins.
Oh, I know. Oh, he's gonna. I like that. He's gonna have lunch. I like that.
If you single cover Christian Wilkins, he's gonna. That's his lunch. You're gonna give him free lunch. Free lunch. He's gonna love it. You're gonna love Christian Wilkins, man. I don't think he's worth $27 million. But he's gonna hustle, man. He's gonna hustle. He's gonna earn that $27 million. I tell you that. You're not going to complain about Christian Wilkins about him not trying hard. You're not going to complain about that. That's one thing you're not going to complain about.
I'm excited.
Also, everything. Max Crosby going to love him.
Oh, I know we're all going to love him. So with that said, guys, that is that for this segment covering the Dolphins. Now we're headed over back north to New England to talk about them Patriots in our next segment. JB, you are the man. I appreciate you, brother, so much for your time lending us today, man. Have you a great rest of your day. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it. When we come back, we are talking Patriots here on 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, AFC week. Day number 2, AFC East day, right here on IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for all. That's supposed to be
that right. Next segment should be quick. The next segment should be quick. Nothing to talk about up there.
We'll be talking Patriots right after this.
Welcome to the 305, aka the Magic City, and this is Magic City Scoreboard. I'm your host, JB, and right here we're going to talk anything Miami. Miami Dolphins, Miami Heat, Miami Hurricanes, Marlins, Panthers, Inter Miami, and even high school football. So join me once a week right here on Magic City Scoreboard on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed to all that is sports.
It's IE Sports Radio. It is your direct feed for all that is sports. It is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris every Tuesday night right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris is the most comprehensive view on Philadelphia sports exclusively right here on IE Sports Radio. You know what it is, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tuesday night, IE Sports Radio, Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris.
Welcome back, football fans. Well, here we go, y'all. We have ourselves 2 teams down. We just talked Jets with Ricky, and obviously just finished off with JB talking about them Dolphins. Well, here we are, y'all, back up in the Northeast talking about them New England Patriots, and who other to talk about them Patriots with than a diehard Pats fan. I mean, it goes so well. Once again, I'm glad we got all of our hosts this year on. I'm really, really happy about that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome me, of course, diehard Patriots fan and the host of our, it's New England. I mean, I say Boston, but it's New England sports show here on IE Sports Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome me, of course, my boy D Dorks. What's going on, brother? How you doing today, man?
Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, thank you for being here. I know it's kind of a stretch. Obviously, this was recorded 2 days ago on Sunday before your show. Craziness, but hey, we make it all work, man. Yeah. Let's get to it, man, so we can just go ahead and jump straight on this thing. So first things first, bro. Last year, man, I know we want to close the door on this thing. I'm sorry. I know we'll go through this really fast, but dude, last year, just the year the Patriots want to forget. After 2 dominant decades, man, obviously, I mean, I guess nothing lasts forever. Tough season, man. I'm going to go through this extremely fast. Starts off with 2 L's, man. Philadelphia and Miami, that sucks. Two tough losses off the bat. They were close, but 2 tough losses. Then a victory over the Jets. You guys seemingly still kind of own the Jets no matter what. So nice victory there. Then
probably not this year.
We'll see if Rodgers, man. I mean, I know he's going to be there, but 3 losses back to back, man. Some tough ones, including a stomping from Dallas and New Orleans. Tough loss there to the Raiders on the road, my team. Then you guys get a victory. This was something that a lot of people were like, whoa, like, okay, Patriots. Obviously, we knew it wasn't going to be the best year. But damn, you guys beat the Buffalo Bills. Cool. I know they have some problems of their own, is what it is. But after that, man, you stop the bleeding for a little bit. At least 3-game losing streak comes to a close. But then, oh my gosh, it was just one after another, man. You guys were like the Lakers, LAL, loss after loss. I mean, that's exactly what it was. 1, 2, 3 into the bye week, 4, 5 losses straight. Miami, Washington, Indianapolis, the Giants, and then the Chargers in the weirdest loss. The Raiders had one like this too, 3-0 to the Vikings in December. You guys had a weird one like this. Just odd. But you end it, thankfully. Nice little victory here over Pittsburgh. Another tough one, and this was a hard-fought game, man. But you guys lost to Kansas City at home. Then one more victory, I guess, for the road, defeating Denver in Denver. And then just 2 losses to end it, man, to Buffalo and to the Jets. Dude, this was a tough one, man. Please give us every raw emotion as a Patriots fan last year.
Just, I guess, utter disappointment. There was there's not a lot of words that could describe it. I mean, at the end of the day, like you mentioned before, like us Patriots fans, we had 2 dominant decades, so it's hard to be in this position, especially, when you see, other teams kind of kicking into gear right now. Obviously, the Celtics just came off a chip. Bruins are going to always be in the mix. The Red Sox are like surprisingly starting to turn their season around. Who knows where that's going to go, but it looks like, for us Boston fans that the Patriots are going to be the worst team in the city for a little while. And last year was, a Mac Jones, crap show. I was pissed that we even drafted him in the first place. I understood the pick, I guess, with the Belichick and the Saban connection. But there were so many studs in that draft, and we passed up on Lamar Jackson, I think the draft before that year, when we had him right there at the 31st pick or whatever it was. And I don't know, I just feel like the end of that Belichick era was just disappointment after disappointment. And he tried to salvage a season, by bringing Cam Newton in and having some star power, and Julian Edelman gets hurt in like the 3rd game of the season and never makes it back, and that was really the end of it right there. And then we had that weird season with Mac Jones as a rookie where we made it to the first round of the playoffs and lost to the Bills, I believe, that year. And yeah, man, but boy, was Belichick wrong about Brady, moving on from Brady. And yeah, last year was just like, I think everything falling apart, I guess, finally, because this real rebuild had to start sooner rather than later. And I'm sure there's a lot of regrets on everybody's parts that's involved in the organization and stuff like that. But as soon as Brady left, I guess the succession plan was Mac Jones, but you didn't do right by him. I think he still has like starting quarterback potential, even though he kind of sucks. But he had that rookie year that kind of makes you think like, nah, there must be something there, because Josh McDaniels was the OC that year, and things were just a little bit more fluid. And so there's some potential there, I guess. But we just didn't surround him with talent. Nobody to really throw the ball to besides Hunter Henry. And Hunter Henry's a really, good receiving tight end. And but that was really all he had. And then Jacoby Myers, we let him slide for like $1 million difference on a contract and all this stuff. And it was just disappointment after disappointment. And Jacoby Myers and Mac Jones had some chemistry, and that was his favorite target. And you left him with just Hunter Henry. And, maybe if we had, Jacoby Myers last year, I'm sure you're proud to have him on the Raiders.
Happy.
Because he's damn good.
Yeah.
And one of those converted quarterback like Edelman, that just understands the game, catches freaking everything, and knows how to get open, runs good routes, high-level competitor, and we just let him walk. And as soon as that kind of happened, and we had the crappy draft where we didn't really get anybody. And a couple of years ago, I think we even drafted Cole Strange in the first round, which was a strange pick. Even Sean McVay was laughing at us about that. He was like, I had him pegged at like, what was it, 128 or something like that, and we took him at like 20, 21. So it was just reach after reach with the end of that Belichick era, and it just, I think last season was just the nail in the coffin, and that's exactly how it felt. It felt like the 2 decades we had of success was just finally dead. And now it's time to mourn. And I don't know how optimistic Patriots fans are, but as a footballer myself and somebody that I think I understand the game deeper than most, it's going to be a long recovery period for the Patriots, because they're not even they got to worry about the AFC East before they can worry about playoffs and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, that's where it is right now. And
bro, it's hard. I get you, dude. It's so hard because, like I told you before, man, a million times over, man, my boy, my best friend, he's a diehard Boston guy. And it's the same thing. It's hard because it's like, it's so, after you had those 2 decades, you knew one day you weren't going to be dominant, but when it happened, you're never ready for it. It's like right. I mean, it's like being a parent. You can say it all you want to, but when it happens, I mean, you know what I mean. Then you're like, oh, you know what I mean? Shit, so it's the same thing. You know what I mean? Like you knew it's gonna happen one day. You knew it's gonna be a thing, and then when it happens, it's just. In this case, I mean, obviously being a parent's awesome. This is bad. This is, damn it. This is we knew this was gonna happen, and it hurts and it sucks and it stings, but you know what, man, it's all good because the Patriots, look, at least the rebuild is here. You know what I mean?
It's manifesting.
Yes, it's not
stage one, step one.
It's true. It's not like Kraft is trying to hold on to Belichick, and there's a feud and there's soap opera drama. No, everything's cleared out. Everything's cleaned out. And here we go. We're going to start this new thing. It's a new journey going hopefully this way. You know what I mean? This way, really, So it's, man, it's one of those things. So, okay, out the door with last season, man. Let's get to this offseason and talk a little bit about what was done, man. There were some few things, and this could probably be pretty quick, actually, because you guys there was a lot of transactions, man, going on here.
Yeah, we added a couple new guys, retained a lot of our, I guess, better players.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was officially releasing Belichick, on January 11th. Mayo becomes the new guy just 6 days later on the 17th. Here we go, man. You guys re-signed Austin Alex, released guys like J.C. Jackson. Okafor is signed. I mean, you know what I mean? You re-signed all these different guys. You got different players here and there just moving in and out. But obviously, you do that, man. I want to make sure, I don't want to, I'm not hogging the spotlight here. But
no, you're good.
Lots of moving pieces here. Wilcox, of course, becoming a part of the Patriots. But when it comes down to it, obviously the draft is here in April, and we'll get to that next. But what moves were you really excited about? Were you happy about? Were there any moves that you were like, what the hell is wrong with you guys? Were there moves that you were like, this is inevitable? I knew that was going to happen. I called it. What were your thoughts on the offseason aside from the draft?
I think going into this offseason, especially when the whole, Belichick and Robert Kraft's, press conference, I don't know if you had a chance to see that, where it just kind of looked like, the billionaire boss was just trying to control the narrative on that and called it a mutual agreement to part ways and blah, 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 blah. And then as I'm watching the interview, I'm just like, this is a crock of crap. He's firing the man. Why can't you just say that? And I knew there was a lot of history there, and they were trying to just maybe hold on to, I guess, the good times. And but that started it off a little weird for me, that this off season. And then it was like a big question mark, like who are they going to hire as their head coach? And obviously it turned out to be Gerard Mayo. That's who I thought it would be. I thought that made the most sense given what I guess we know about the Kraft and the group and the organization as a whole. They kind of like to mold and develop employees over time and put them into roles. And Gerard Mayo, he's kind of like he cut from the same cloth as the Raiders head coach. You know what I mean? Linebacker, played at a high level, all that kind of stuff, and knows what it's like to be a player first. And I think that's why you've seen the Raiders last year. They kind of, even with Aiden O'Connell and things like that, he kind of started to put things together towards the end of last year. Ended with I think 2 wins, to close out the season, or maybe they lost one game and then won the last game of the year, whatever it was. But I think you see what's going on with Houston and D'Amico Ryans, linebacker, head coach, all that kind of stuff. There's kind of seems to just be like a trend, going on in the NFL. African American males as well, linebackers, all that kind of stuff. So you look at Gerard Mayo and it's like, okay, look, you look at the success that Houston had last year and that the Raiders seemed to have towards the end of last year by getting in a player's coach with player experience, with probably about, I would say, more than 75% of the NFL players being African-American males, and all that kind of stuff. And you just kind of put everything all together and you're like, okay, the most logical choice for this head coaching job has to be Gerard Mayo. I didn't really believe the Mike Vrabel noise or anything like that. I didn't think that made sense because he good coach. But if Tennessee wants to get rid of you, then why should New England want to bring you in? Type thing. You know what I mean? And then Derrick Henry left and all that kind of stuff. So there seemed to be something going on in Tennessee that has them where they're at. But and then the big signings that I was excited about is the retainment of our I guess better players on the roster. Now, mind you, and I'm talking to all Patriots fans and football fans right now, that the Patriots didn't have a Pro Bowler on their roster last year, let alone an All-Pro. So they didn't have a Pro Bowler, they didn't have an All-Pro, and I think they were like literally the only team in the NFL without that. So like when you take all that into consideration, you're like, yes, Michael Oweno, the big tackle, yes, starting caliber NFL player. He always grades well on all the statistical websites. He grades well. So yes, you had to retain him. Duggar was somebody that you drafted that was kind of like that last actual good Belichick draft pick and took a swing. I think he was at a D2 school, Lenore Ryan or something like that, and took a swing on him. And he had the NFL size, the speed, the playmaking ability, and he translated pretty well to the NFL. And he's one of the better safeties in the league. So you retained those two guys, which I thought was super important. And then I think they even extended Christian Barmore, which I think was really, really important too, because he's that big. He's that defensive lineman with Pro Bowl / All-Pro potential. He's the one guy up front. He has that potential. And then you hope to see more from our defensive end that we picked up last year from Georgia Tech, White, this year. But we don't have to worry about him right now. We got to worry about who we picked up and retained. That's like the big thing. And the Okafor signing, the left tackle, I believe, or swing tackle, you could call him, from the Pittsburgh Steelers. He comes from a good organization, has starting experience. I just don't really know if he is a starting caliber lineman. I always looked at him as more of maybe like a backup, like a really good backup, even though he started plenty of games. So we'll see. So he's looks like he's going to be our starting left tackle. And then we re-signed Alex Austin, the cornerback, who really showed some flashes at the end of last year with the injuries that we had to the secondary. Obviously, Christian Gonzalez was hurt. Jonathan Jones got banged up. And then who's the other guy that got banged up? I'll figure it. We had injuries, and this kid stepped up and worked his way up from the practice squad. And, you always got to love stories like that because that's what, America's all about, is the underdog rising to the opportunity and, seizing the moment. And that's something that Alex Austin, did towards the end of last year. So that was a good another person that I think was a good player, a good person to retain on the roster. And then they brought in Hooper, I believe, as well, the tight end. Was another pretty good pickup, somebody that is similar to Hunter Henry, and, does some good things on the field. He could block well, he could catch. So, we did that. And then I think those are like the real big moves throughout the, I guess, free agency and retaining who we have. I know there was some other small pickups that we made, but I don't think those guys are going to be like impact players. They're going to be like situational depth pieces, things like that. Because they even brought in another offensive lineman, I think Leverett, who is very similar to Okafor, plays guard, has some starting experience and things like that. So they brought in some veteran presence to the offensive, line room, which is good. Most important position group on the field is the offensive line, which is another reason why I think we're going to suck this year. But because the offensive line just isn't like, it's not there yet. And I know we picked up a guy from Penn State and all this kind of stuff, but yeah, I think we did a good job bringing in some decent pieces and retaining the people that we needed to retain. And that's really what it was. And I think we even retained, Tavai, the inside linebacker as well.
Yeah.
So we did a good job keeping people, which is good for New England. Like if that shows, I guess, maybe something that they're trying to like keep the people that they draft and all that kind of stuff. And so I guess that's a good thing to look forward to. They didn't like completely like abandon ship because Belichick drafted these guys. They kept a few of them, which is good.
And you know what, man? I like that. You're right. There was that we're keeping who we feel we need to keep, but we're starting over with everything else. And you know what, man? There was some, and that's easy to show you. There is that positivity right now. Thank God there isn't that. I like how you said that it was frustrating with the whole like parting ways thing. You're like, no, man, you fired him, get it over with. You rip the Band-Aid off. It's over. Don't beat around the bush. And that was it. It was kind of annoying, but that part's over with. And you know what, man? Like I said, I think it's a good direction. Now
that press conference was super annoying. Like
it was.
And I don't know if I'm the only I guess because I feel like there wasn't a lot of New England fans saying the press conference was annoying. They were more looking at it from like a shocked standpoint, like, oh my God, Belichick's actually fired. Like nah, the writing was on the wall. Like it was on the wall. And yes, of course they want to like make it look like they end things on good term because of all the success that they've had. But like, it was what it was. It was a press conference that I'm pretty sure Belichick didn't even want to do. But out of respect for Robert Kraft and Robert Kraft being like, hey, like, I'm the reason you're like a millionaire and, one of the, if not the greatest head coaches in the history of the NFL, you're gonna do this exit interview. Like, I'm not really asking you. That's how I felt like it went down. Like, I'm not really asking you, Bill. I'm telling you this is what we're doing.
Yeah, and that was nah.
And then Kraft probably has some people in some black SUVs that, do his dirty work type things. You know what I'm saying? I feel like all rich people gotta have that. I don't know. That's just the way I look at it, man.
I'll show you, bro. No, that was something.
We're picking you up, Bill. We're outside. What do you mean?
Yeah,
we're doing this. We're doing this press conference. And then Belichick was like, you know what, babe? I think we're getting divorced. Okay, bye. I'm gonna go divorce Robert Kraft too.
Seriously, man. What a time. But you've expressed numerous times on Beantown Blitz that you just look, and it's funny, you didn't like Mac and you don't like May either. You really don't. I like you expressed it. You've expressed a million times over on Beantown Blitz that even if they were to try to start in May this year, it's a horrible idea because the offensive line is so bad. So I mean, obviously, you've expressed a million times you don't like this pick, and I get it. But first overall, for you guys, first pick that is third overall. Drake May, quarterback out of North Carolina. We'll just run through the other ones really quick. In the second round, Jalen Polk, another dude who I thought was, I was a Pac-12 guy.
I think that was a steal. That was a steal. He's a good player.
It was a steal. It was, because this dude is a freak of nature athlete, man. So I got to see a lot of this guy playing over here on the West Coast. Really solid player.
I feel like that pick was like a because I think I think like Polk might have not have gotten drafted so high if it wasn't for the Patriots. Like I think he might have slipped a little bit more. But the Patriots, that was like an example of them saying like, oh no, we like this guy and going to get the guy that they like. Like it wasn't about like, oh, where may he be on other draft boards, or is there any other guy here that we would like to pick? Like, no, this guy kind of fits what we're looking to do. I guess from a systemic standpoint, and so that was a good pick. I really like that pick. And
It
then,
was, right? It
yeah, it
was.
was a
I
good
thought
pick.
that was pretty dang good, man. And then Wallace, another one, man. A big boy. They're trying their damnedest. I mean, they knew they were gonna have to try to pick up some offensive linemen here. Not a later round guy. I thought he'd go right around the third round, and Wallace
Yeah.
certainly a good pickup out of Penn State. Another
Mhm.
guy, Layden Robinson, right guard out of Texas A&M.
Yep.
Another guy who I thought for sure would go about the third, fourth round. And you know what? Good stuff there. Another fourth round pick, Javon Baker, wide receiver out of Central Florida. Could be a
Steal
utility
there.
kind of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so totally another steal there. So obviously we get later on Marsalis Dial, corner out of South Carolina, and Joe Milton.
He's a big kid too. Dial.
Yeah, he is. Quarterback
Big
out of
kid.
Tennessee, backup potential kind of guy. Jaheim Bell also tight end out of Florida State. These guys are later on, as I've been saying all throughout the series. Those later on guys, they're fighting for a roster spot. Could potentially, maybe yay or nay, make the team, depending. But the earlier round guys, for sure, up into the third, probably fourth round, dang sure they're probably going to stick around. Right now, with this whole rebuild,
Yeah.
I think all these guys might actually find themselves on the roster doing something. Regardless, though, what did you think about that draft, man, as a whole?
As a whole, I would give it probably like a solid like B grade overall. I think like I understand the Drake May pick. You know what I mean? When you're at third overall. But my whole thing is, it's like, I don't know. I hope there's not delusion in the Patriots front office, because there's a handful of good quarterbacks coming out next year too. And I don't know. Like I said, I'm hoping they're not thinking that they're going to be like an 8, 9, 10 win team that's going to be drafting late. Like, nah, y'all are going to be drafting pretty high for the foreseeable future. And you might as well try to, I'm not saying tank, but the roster as a whole is not a playoff roster. Okay. The schedule is going to be tough as hell, which I'm sure we'll talk about shortly next year. And so I just hope there's not delusion. Like, there's plenty of quarterbacks that are also coming out next year. And I mean, it would have been sick to get like a Marvin Harrison Jr. there at the third pick, like an actual like dynamic playmaker. Or even like reach for Neighbors or something, like do something like super, like that would get the fan base like juiced up. I think Drake May does get the fan base here in New England juiced up because he's a prototypical quarterback. He has the size, he has some athleticism. I can't deny that he has, some arm talent. He throws very well in the middle of the field, up the seams and things like that. I don't really like his decision making and things of that nature, which I talked about ad nauseum on Beantown Blitz. But Drake May, I get it, because if there's even like a speck of possibility that he could turn into a franchise quarterback, you kind of got to take that risk, because if he does go get drafted somewhere else, let alone maybe somewhere else in the AFC, and then he ends up turning out to be like what I guess all the experts thought he could potentially turn into, then you just kind of look dumb for not taking the quarterback. So I think that was more like the safe pick as well for the Patriots. And the guy does have upside, like there's potential. And trust me, like I want him to be good. I want him to be good. But just from the tape that I seen at North Carolina, when he played against higher level competition in college, he didn't really turn out the best games. And I know that has a lot to do with playing at North Carolina. They're a basketball school, but they've had some pretty decent football teams over the past 5-10 years too.
Oh,
so, yeah, they're not horrible. And the ACC is, a Power 5, conference. And but I just he didn't seem to me he didn't seem to be like a guy that's gonna make the team better just by his presence. Like, he seems to be like a guy that you need to have a perfect situation around. And people are like, oh, well, CJ Stroud did that. last year in Houston. Nah. CJ Stroud should have gone first in that draft. That was on the Carolina Panthers thinking that Bryce Young was going to be better than CJ Stroud, which was completely wrong. And Young has a chance, but I think that's another one of the examples, along with Mac Jones, of those, Alabama quarterbacks that have elite talent at the college level around them at every position, pretty much, and then they just kind of are game managers that make the plays necessary. But yeah, Drake May, I wish him the best, and I hope I'm wrong. I just not too optimistic about it. And then the Javon Baker pick, that's a pick that I'm actually pretty excited about. I think he has a chance to be a pretty good wide receiver in the league, and the linemen that they picked up, have tons of college playing experience, and it's not like they went out and drafted the linemen, from these small schools. Some of those linemen turned out to be really good from the smaller, schools, but they went out and got a dude from Penn State. They went out and got a dude from Texas A&M who played in the SEC,
Yes.
And so they go in and getting guys on the offensive line, at least, that have tons of experience playing at very high levels in probably the two best conferences in college football. So I'm excited about the two linemen that they picked up. I don't know if they're going to come in and start this year or what, but I don't think that there's anyone on the roster outside of, David Andrews and Michael Owenu that are locked in, that are going to be starters. I think everything else is up in the air, and we'll see.
I'll tell you, man, this was a solid draft, because, yeah, you know what? Once again, they address their needs, and you love when a team does it. They address their needs. Solid stuff there, as always, man. I'm loving it. If you want more of this guy, by the way, if you're like, this guy is super cool, he knows his Boston sport, he knows, by all means, right, man, be at Beantown Blitz, i.e., check him out, man. Obviously, Sports Nut with a Z 617. You're gonna want to follow him. I'll put this up, of course, at the end of the segment. But man, D Dorch spits it how it is. This man is a coach at a very high level high school out in the Boston area. So yeah, he knows a thing or two, okay, about the X's and O's and Jimmy's and Joe's. So yeah, man, he knows, man. So all right, man. With that said, this season, this is it. This is where we are now. Are staring at what could be. I mean, look, here it is, the 2024 Patriots season. You know what, man? Here it is. You guys got the AFC, South, I believe it's here, as well as the AFC West, I believe, in there, the NFC West and NFC West, AFC South.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
So. I mean, there's lots of talent here on many of these teams, but at the same exact time, some of these teams are also in that sort of rebuild. Seahawks right now, I mean, don't really know what they're doing. They're here, they're there, they're kind of everywhere. Houston, of course, they're coming out looking like world beaters. Are they not? Cincinnati, how are they going to be this year? The Niners, are they going to come back and be that big, strong, monstrous team? The Jets, how are they really going to look when Rodgers gets out there? How is he going to look? How are they going to look as a whole? I mean, because question marks everywhere. Chicago, are they really going to be that good with Williams, or is he going to be another dud like Fields was? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, there's question marks everywhere. The Indianapolis Colts, how are they going to look this year? The Cardinals, that's a weird game too. Buffalo, you got them within 3 weeks of one another at the very end of the season, and Buffalo is like almost dismantled after this last offseason. I mean, look, I'm not trying to say, yeah, man, let's be hopeful for the Patriots to make a playoff run, but same exact time, you got to have some kind of, me looking at this, with the rebuild going on, I don't know, man. The Patriots, there is something to be excited about.
Yeah.
Just depending on how things happen, all this injuries. But looking at the schedule over here, man, what are you thinking this year? You don't got to give me a record or anything, but what do you personally think, and how are you feeling about it?
I think it's a one of the harder schedules in the league. I mean, like you said, the Seahawks, we don't know. They're a question mark. But at the end of the day, I will say that their scouting department does know how to find some guys. And there's proof of this. They went out. They in the past couple drafts, I think they picked up Witherspoon, who's going to be a freaking good corner. They got what's his face, Tariq Woolen, I think the big corner in the year before, and then they got Metcalf and Lockett, and so I think they do a good job at like getting some talent into their organization. The Cardinals, they're I think they're on a similar tier as the Patriots. But I mean, I think all those other games outside of the AFC East games are just like, I mean, yes, it would be nice to win those and squeeze out a couple of those, but realistically looking at this season and something to be excited about, I think, is Gerard Mayo and what type of coach he's going to be, and if this team with a lack of talent, which is just a fact, they lack high-end talent. If they can overachieve based on coaching, buy-in, culture, things like that, kind of similar to what you're seeing in Detroit, even though Detroit, I think, has some phenomenal talent, along with a great coach in Dan Campbell. But I feel like that culture has been reset. So Detroit is going to be a force in the league for a while now, which is crazy to say. And so I think that's what you could be excited about. I mean, seeing how do the guys respond to Gerard Mayo, and what can he get out of them? And if he could get these, I guess, like I said before, these lack of high-end talent players to perform at their best on a consistent basis, and then they put them in the positions to succeed and, I guess, exploit what they do well, hide what they can't do well, because that's what coaches got to do. They're going to be like, all right, my dude, if it's offensive lineman, he's good at, blocking right run plays. These left run plays, though, I don't know what's going on with these left run plays. So if we're going to run the ball in crucial situations, we got to go right. And that could just be because of one guy. You know what I mean? So I think that's the real thing to be excited about. And if Drake May plays, I think that's another thing to be excited about, I guess. I'm petrified of that situation and that scenario. And then, the other rookies that we drafted, and seeing what else we did. I know KJ Osborne was another pickup that I forgot to mention earlier, which is kind of along the lines of that Hooper pickup. So he's a starting caliber, top 3 receiver. If you got the right other receivers around him, Jordan Addison was on the Vikings last year, and then obviously you got Justin Jefferson. So KJ Osborne wasn't really asked to do a lot. He was asked to, when you get your 4 or 5 targets, you need to catch the damn ball. And most of the time he did catch the damn ball. So I think he's a good, third option guy. I don't think he's a first option guy. So I wasn't super excited about that pickup. I was like, "Ooh, that's a pretty decent pickup. Like, that's a good depth guy to have, like, in case what's his face, Kendrick Bourne doesn't return to form, in case Pop Douglas doesn't take that second year leap, and things like that. Then you got like a veteran presence there that you could be like, hey, you're the number 2 guy because." This dude Polk's been killing it and Baker's been killing it, but Baker's having trouble remembering the plays or something. You never know how it goes. And so he's a good, like, fill the void guy. And so I'm okay with that signing. But I think the big things, like I mentioned, got to be excited about the coaching and seeing what they can do as a coaching staff and what Gerard Mayo brings to the table as a head coach. And then second thing is seeing how the rookies pan out. And then that's really all I'm excited about, because I don't think, like I said, I'm not excited about wins or losses or anything like that. Looking at the schedule, obviously, I guess the hidden gem of being in the NFL is you got to win your division. And if you win your division, you could make that wild card spot. But I look at our division too, and I'm like, if the team that I think is the scariest, because they got a friggin' elite defense, is the Jets. And they went out and added, Hassan Riddick to another edge rusher to put up front with Quentin Williams. And they got an all-pro linebacker and Quincy Williams. They got Sauce Gardner. They're just loaded defensively with talent. Jermaine Johnson is a Pro Bowler as well, coming off the edge at defensive end. They're just loaded. And then they revamped the offensive line. They brought in Tyron Smith from the Cowboys. They drafted I think Fashanu, the guy, the big tackle out of Penn State in the first round. They drafted in the first round a couple of years ago, Elijah Vera Tucker. He was another guy that they drafted in the first round on the offensive line. And then they went out and brought in Morgan Moses, who's a good vet. And he was on that Baltimore Ravens line last year that had pretty much the best run offense in the league. And then they got Breece Hall, and then they added what's his name, Malachi Corley, I think his name is, the wide receiver in the draft this year too. And then they went out and got Mike Williams, from the Chargers. So he's always hurt, but I mean, they got Rodgers some guys to throw to with Garrett Wilson and Corley, and then Breece Hall's a good running back. The revamped O-line, and then they have a really legit, a top 5 defense. So the Jets to me are the team to beat in the AFC East if Aaron Rodgers plays. He doesn't need to play at an MVP level because that defense is so good. But if he plays at a Pro Bowl level, the Jets are going to be a tough team to beat because it's going to be low scoring games. They're not going to be giving up 40 points. Maybe once in a while they might have one of those flunkers, but that defense is real. And then I'm looking at the Dolphins. I think they're the second best team in the AFC East. Tyreek Hill, Waddle, Tua's I guess a top 15 quarterback, you could call him in the NFL.
Mhm.
I don't know about him losing all that weight and stuff like that. He's super skinny now, and he had injury problems, so I'm not sure how that's gonna pan out because he's just like I said, he was injury prone. So now you lost weight,
Right.
and you're gonna get hit. And you got all these concussion things going on with him, and he's probably
Right.
one concussion away from being I gotta retire.
Oh,
You know
man.
what I mean? So you never know what happens with Tua, and I don't really know what they have as a backup plan behind Tua. It's probably I think they had a rookie a couple of years ago, forget his name, but that ended up playing when Tua got hurt towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still on the roster or not, but I mean, they got a good team. Shaquille Barrett just retired, though. That was a big guy that they picked up in the offseason, so he retired. I think that means you're going to have to see more from their first round pick. I think they got Chop Robinson or something like that.
Pick up Chop. Yeah, man. No, there were some good pickups there, man.
Yeah.
So really quick, I think it's kind of funny because I think you're doing the respectful version of our next segment. It's kind of fun. The last segment, obviously, we call it "Stick It to 'Em."
Oh yeah.
The ending segment where you talk a little crap about the other 3 teams you love to hate in your division. Obviously, Bills, Jets, Dolphins, and realistically, everybody does this differently. Nice, respectful. They just go ahead and go through each team. They'll throw a little hate on there if they want to, however it is. It's kind of funny. You already kind of given the review of how they're looking. So if you'd like to, obviously, continue what you were doing, or if you want to, chop it up real nice and smooth, man. And, tell us how you think each team is going to do this year of those 3. And then if you want to sprinkle a little on top and talk a little crap, that's okay too for each team. However you want to do it, man. Final segment of the show. Continue on, man. Stick it to
them. Like I said, I think the Dolphins will be the second best team in the AFC. I think the Jets are going to be pretty good. And then obviously the Bills. The Bills are just not the Bills of, I guess, the past 5 seasons or whatever. They don't have the defense. They didn't retain the guys that they should have, like Tremaine Edwards and Edmonds. Tremaine Edmonds. They lost Tre'Davious White too this year, or last year maybe it was. Poyer's gone. The defense that they had over the past couple of years is depleted at this point. And then they obviously got rid of Diggs and sent him to a Super Bowl contender. And they drafted Keon Coleman, but they also lost Gabe Davis on top of it. They just lost a lot offensively. So it's a toss-up for me. I think the Bills are not. I mean, they do got Josh Allen, but I just don't think they have the right pieces anymore. So to me, it's a toss-up between the Bills and Patriots. I could see the Bills picking at the top of the draft next year because Josh Allen's good, but he's not MVP good. You know what I mean? He's just not. I don't think he's MVP good. I think he had a good defense and he got better in the system and all that. But I'm sorry, Bills fans. I think you guys are gonna suck too next year, and I don't know what they have to be excited about either. But I know I have nothing to be excited about. But if I was a Bills fan, I'd be like, I mean, Josh Allen is literally the only thing that you can be excited about, and he has no one to throw the ball to besides Kincaid, and Dawson Knox. Maybe you're gonna be throwing the tight ends all game, like. They're not Hernandez and Gronk, okay? It's not going to work the same way. It's not going to work the same way. It's not going to work the same way. I mean, and Tyreek Hill just keeps popping out babies, so I don't know how long his career is going to last. I don't know what he is, if he's like a polygamist or like what's going on there, or I don't know. He got, what, 9 different baby mamas or something like that? I guess he treats women like end zones. He just wants to run through them.
Oh my goodness!
But I mean,
all thoughts and words and decisions are their own, D-dorks. Oh my god!
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, I think the Jets are the best team in the AFC East. That's my pick to win. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they just were horrible because. The Jets just, for some reason, I don't know what's going on in New York City, but there's something in the air that sprinkles some dust on the Jets that, like, and maybe it's Lucky the Leprechaun coming from Boston and just sprinkling the dust on New York City and saying the Jets, y'all suck. The only good part about New York is the New York Giants, because they're literally the only team that can beat a Boston team. I mean, the Yankees were just losing to the Red Sox a couple weeks ago, so. I guess the Jets, I mean, their whole season is dependent upon Aaron Rodgers, and if Rob Shawla, whatever his name is, I can't even pronounce his last name, can actually start being a competent coach. I think the guy's a friggin' shit for brains. That's just my opinion, though. Like, every time I listen to his like interviews and Hard Knocks, when the Jets were on Hard Knocks last year, he just sounded like a doofus. Like I don't know. I don't know. I don't. The Jets coaching staff, I don't know about them. So if the Jets season falls apart, it's not because of the players. It's going to be because the coaches suck. And
damn.
So, I mean, the best case scenario is, all the players in the AFC East get hurt, and the Patriots just end up winning the AFC East and sneak into the playoffs somehow.
I mean,
just because Josh Allen, breaks his tibia or something, or Tua has another concussion, or
oh my goodness.
Tyreek Hill has a vasectomy, whatever it is. But you said we got to stick it to him a little bit. I'm sorry, Tyreek Hill. I actually think Tyreek Hill is a pretty awesome dude. So I'm just talking shit to the fans, not you, Tyreek.
Just having fun.
Yeah, I'm just having fun. But yeah, I mean, the Dolphins. It's hot down there too. It is Florida, and there's a lot of distractions in Miami. So maybe some of their guys get into trouble, and it's easy to get in trouble down there.
Ladies and gentlemen, these dorks, man. This guy sticking it to him, man. Oh my goodness. As always, y'all, all thoughts, comments, and everything of their own. D-dorks over here just talking crap to the fans, having fun with them. But like I said, D-dorks, man, brother, that was fun, man. Thank you for being aboard today. Jumping on, man. That was a lot of fun. Talk about them Patriots, man, getting that season preview. Once again, y'all, check out Beantown Blitz Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern, man. Show them some love. Make sure to give them a follow at Beantown Blitz IE right here. Also on X, Twitter X, whatever you want to call it. That's with a Z. 617. Great dude, man. You're going to want to check him out. He tweets as much as he can. The guy's extremely busy. He's a full-time dad, all right, full-time husband, full-time coach. This dude works. He's just like me, by the way, in case you guys also a teacher. Teaches what I teach too, which is pretty sweet. So yeah, man, we're teachers. We're getting ready to go back to school in a couple of weeks. No,
I know, right? It's like the summer's over. All right.
Oh my gosh, D Dorks is already. I mean, I'm sure you're already getting ready. Everything's getting training camps coming together for your players and everything. And pretty soon we're just gonna see D Dorks for a show, and that's pretty much about it because this man's gonna be as busy as it gets. But ladies and gentlemen, once again, D Dorks, thanks again, bro, for being here today, man. I really appreciate your time.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me, Larry B.
As always, brother. So, all right, guys. Well, that's gonna do it for this segment, man. So check it out, everybody. We finished up. I gotta keep track of everything. Started things off with the Jets with our boy Ricky. Went over to down south to Miami to the 305 with our boy JB. Came back up to the Northeast, man, with D Dorks talking about them Patriots. Now it's time to go a little northwest, I guess, over to Buffalo to talk about them Buffalo Bills to finish off this year in the AFC East. Oh, so excited, man. So with that said, guys, oh yeah, that's gonna be fun. So
the Super Bowl-less Buffalo Bills.
D Dorks is ready, man. I love this, man. So with that said, guys, that will do it for this segment. When we come back, we are talking Bills. You are listening to 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, AFC East Day, right here on IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for all that is sports. Will be right back talking Bills after this.
What's good, everyone? It's Drewski, the host of Heart of Texas Sports on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. On this station, we cover everything in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area. We cover the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Stars, Dallas Mavericks, Dallas Wings, Texas Rangers, TCU, SMU. We cover it all right here every Wednesdays from 9 to 10 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you stay live with me on the Heart of Texas Sports on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, sports fans? You're listening to IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your favorite West Coast Wisconsinite, Bernie Bango, and if you're a cheesehead, come listen to my show, Big Cheese Sports, where we road trip around America's Dairyland, previewing, reviewing, predicting, debating, and digging into all that is Wisconsin sports at the college and pro levels. Join me on IE Sports Radio, Sundays at 1 p.m. Central Standard. Bernie out.
Welcome back, football fans. Well, here we go, guys. We have made it to our final destination of the AFC East. And what better place to end it off in a place that is so tight-knit in their community of the fan base, so tight-knit in their city. They have their own ice cream. Pretty cool. You have an extremely cool place where I cannot wait to visit one day. And I'll tell you right now, when it comes down to it, these guys, they love their team. These ladies and gentlemen put on for this team so well. Oh, yeah. And they are 100% deserving of so many great things coming. Hopefully it's soon. And I'll tell you right now, haven't lost faith in this team. I know this was a crazy offseason, but hey, let's see what happens on the field. So with that said, we got through, of course, today. Whew, it's been a fun one. We started things off in I guess New York City, Jersey, really. So started things off with the Jets. Went down south to the 305, talk about them Dolphins. Came back up to the northeast, to the New England area this time. Talk about the Patriots. Just finished up with D Dorks. And, well, now we are headed on over to Buffalo, which is awesome because, I mean, if you guys ever listen to the drop, okay, to the Buffalo Huddle drop, the fun facts are so cool about Buffalo being closer to Canada than New York City. Because all these neat things. I mean, yeah, it's pretty crazy when you look around over there in that area. But I'll tell you right now, I'm so happy. This woman over here is as busy as it gets, and to steal some of her time, it's always heartfelt because I know she cares about the station. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcoming here for her zillionth time. I can't even say millionth anymore because there's been too many times. But welcoming back to the show here for 3 and Out, 8 Division 8 days, the conclusion of AFC East Day. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming, of course, wonderful person, dear friend, and absolutely incredible podcast host here on IE Sports Radio, the host of the Buffalo Huddle, Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. Eastern. And did I forget IE Sports Radio Hall of Famer? Yes, that is Patty Bax. So what's going on, Patty? How you doing this evening?
Thank you, Larry. Great show so far. I've been listening, and they are awesome. Just awesome. It's really an honor and privilege to be here to talk about the love of my life next to my husband and my family, of course, and God. Definitely the Buffalo Bills.
And that is a beautiful thing. See, once again, guys, you hear a lot of love for the team, but when you put it that high up on the pole up there, I'm just saying it says a lot. So, Patty, I'm so happy to have you here this evening. Thank you so very much. And this is going to be the conclusion, like I said, of AFC East Day. We're going to be halfway done with the AFC East after this interview. So let's get to it, have some fun, and start things off with a little bit of last season. I know, Patty, this is always the tough one, right? Getting into last season and talking about what was, but let's talk about it here really, really, really quick. So last year, it was this kind of a weird year. That really awkward loss.
It was a very weird year.
It was that awkward loss to the Jets. And the reason why I call it awkward is because the Jets seemed to play their hearts out because their leader fell on the third or fourth play. The season was a fluke as we thought it would be because they sure as heck didn't continue that success. The Jets knocked you guys off in overtime on that opening weekend. But after that, look, you guys absolutely destroy my Raiders. I mean, it was hilarious seeing the Raiders even attempt to try to win this game. However, after that, straight up do the same exact thing to the Washington Commanders. Then, I mean, that lit a fire. My gosh. I mean, though Miami put up 20, there was nothing they can do. Okay, you absolutely smashed those guys as well. 3-game win streak. And then the weirdest thing happens. You lose to one of the weirdest teams. I still don't understand how this game happened. The loss of Jacksonville. Regardless, though, you get a rebound victory over the Giants. After that, another one of those weird losses. New England does play you guys always extremely hard. However, they were in pieces last year. This was just one of those Hail Marys they threw up, I guess, and won it. Next up, a win over Tampa Bay is not easy. Though they're not what they used to be, they're still a strong team. A nice victory there. Then a 2-game skid, unfortunately. 2 games here, Cincinnati and Denver. You get a nice revenge game over the Jets, kind of showing them, hey, we're still, we're still boss here. After that, a very tough loss right after Thanksgiving to Philadelphia, into the bye week, and then you guys just go on a mean streak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 victories in a row over the Kansas City Chiefs, the Dallas Cowboys, the Los Angeles Chargers. You get the revenge on the New England Patriots, and then same exact thing over the Miami Dolphins. Well, heading into the postseason, the Bills were looking all in well, defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers in the wildcard weekend, and then unfortunately, a heartbreaker. Oh, this game was a killer. Obviously, I had the Bills last year as my Super Bowl pick because the belief in this team, I still believe in this team to be good. Like I said, I know we'll get to the offseason in a few minutes. It was a rough one, but this was a tough one, especially to the rival Chiefs as a Raider fan. I mean, it was a hard one. Okay, Patty, I don't even expect you to go all out in this segment because I mean we could be here all night, but every raw emotion, I mean, as best as you can from last season as a Bills fan. But what did you think?
Yeah. Just a little background. I was an addiction counselor for almost 20 years. I'm also a registered nurse, and right now I'm doing marketing and outreach for a quit line here in New York State. I understand what it means to be in pain. And being a Bills fan, I've got season tickets for over 35 years. I'm 65, and I've been a fan since as long as I can remember. I think I was born with a football in my hand that said Bills on it. But nothing ever comes easy. So I think my career path really prepared me for the ups and downs of the season. I like to say that the Buffalo Bills' middle name is resiliency, because that's the way we continue to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and just keep going. Nothing ever comes easy. Not last season, the season before, we had just so much tragedy happen in our community, with the team, with our announcer, having a stroke. I mean, we just had so many things. It was almost like, and then the snowstorm. And then a snowstorm at Christmas where people died. I mean, what more could come our way? So we know what it's like to be knocked down, but we also know what it's like to get back up. And when we get back up, we take the lessons that we've learned and we apply them moving forward. That game with Kansas City coming to our house was painful. I was there, of course. And I always had this like in the back of my, just at the back of my head. And I kept saying, don't think negative. Don't think negative. It's like we come so close. But yet for some reason, when it comes to the playoffs, we can beat them in the regular season. So I have a feeling just from my experience and being a counselor that it's more of a mental, psychological hump that we have to get over. We've got the physical tools. But you just wonder, what if? What if Tyler Bass made that kick? What if Stephon Diggs would have caught that pass? What if? There's always a lot of what ifs. The same with Jacksonville game that's in London. We had two of our best players go down during that game. Horrible. The conditions on that field were not safe for players to even be playing. But it is what it is. You can't make excuses. Every team has injuries. That Kansas City game, we lost one of our most valuable players, our linebacker, Terrell Bernard, who was in for Matt Milano, who was also injured. And that, talk about heart and soul. He wanted to play. He tried everything he could do to be ready, and he just couldn't do it. So the defense was really walking wounded. Our offense was fairly healthy, but again, it's like a mental block. We were so close. We were right there. Now, could we have beaten Baltimore? I don't really know. I don't know unless we had gotten healthier. So that really just makes us want it even more, because there is no doubt the players, the coaches, they all are so integrated into our community. We are one. We don't call it just like, okay, the Buffalo Bills. We call it our team. Some fans don't call it, well, they call it the name of their team, but we call it our team because we are all one team working together to get this Super Bowl.
Spoken as a true diehard, Patty. Oh my goodness, I want to get this off the screen so fast because, my goodness, beautifully said. I mean, the emotion, it's there. I mean, like I said, Patty, last year I was so in with the Bills, and look, just because I've been saying all show along that yes, the Bills looked like they've lost a step. There's a couple players who departed. It's been, it's I don't know if they're going to be that team regardless. I haven't even spoken about my weigh-in just yet. And as we're getting closer now to the end of the show, let's just say I still haven't lost faith in this team. Daddy, this team, I don't think okay, look, you've said you've been obviously you've been a fan for many years. Okay, and obviously I've been a fan as well for many years as well. However, you've seen a lot more than I have with these Bills, and I'll tell you right now, watching that, because I've watched all four. I know, here we go again. But I've watched all four falls, okay, of Niagara. I've watched all four of those games, and it's just, oh my gosh, I was heartbroken.
Yeah. I was there for all four of them too.
And that's incredible to think you were
all there. And I've never jumped ship. I will never jump ship, because you know what it means to be a fan. You're in, all in, and if you're not going to be all in, if you can't take the good with the bad, then get out. You're not a fan.
Exactly.
You know, there are fans by name only, and then there are really diehards like yourself. The Raiders have had some ups and downs, and they haven't always been the best. But I think what we're witnessing before our eyes is something that not every team has, and teams want to have, even though the media, I don't know, I think they just like clicks on social media. But we've got the guy looking over my shoulder here. We've got Josh Allen, and I got him on my teacup here. Josh Allen. And I got my earrings of Josh Allen. So
get out of here.
Yeah, I got the earrings. I got the gold works. But we have Josh Allen, and no matter, as long as we have Josh Allen, this team is going places, and you can't doubt Josh Allen, because I have seen an evolution in him since last year. And I'm sure we'll probably talk about, how Steph Diggs left and everything. I have seen things changing. There's just a new energy. Coach McDermott talked about it in his press conference. This energy, this bonding, this enthusiasm, the players they brought in. Now they've lost, granted, we lost a ton of players that we loved, players that we, were leaders, but with who they brought in the off season were some incredible players. And I'm sure we'll get to that. But I just think that Josh Allen has taken it upon himself, we've seen it in the offseason, to be more of a leader. He's always been a leader, but he has matured. He has matured, and I think you're going to really see that on and off the field. He knows what it's going to take to win.
He does. I mean, it's crazy because obviously, I'm a big college guy. I love the college game, and seeing this guy in Wyoming, I mean, the only thing that anybody ever had to say about it, I mean, obviously, a lot of people said other things or whatever, but the majority of people always just said, he's got to tame the arm down. As soon as he can get the accuracy to go with that rocket arm, and here we see him years later in the NFL, and my gosh, he's corrected that so well. I mean, he's got everything else. He's a true competitor, and Daddy, he's the only reason why Wyoming was ever legit in the last 10 years. I mean, since then, people forgot who Wyoming was, and before he was there, people really didn't even know. I mean, that's it. I mean, so he came out and just made things happen immediately. I've loved him since he's gone to the Bills, and he's done great. So yeah, I mean, we're obviously gonna go right into the offseason right now, but I couldn't agree more. Wholeheartedly, I truly still feel that this team has so much with them, so much in them, and we haven't seen the end of the Bills just because of, well, let's go ahead and perfect segue. Just because of this stuff happened here, okay, doesn't necessarily mean the Bills are done. So here we go, taking a look at a lot of moves. So Patty, my goodness, I mean, after all of this happened,
we did.
Yeah, look at all this. So Joe Brady, offensive coordinator. Hey, we got taking a look here at some of these here. Matt Edwards, he's a new assistant defensive lineman coach. We have here new linebacker coach. I mean, we have lots of moves in just the coaching. Then we take a look at a lot of these transactions, and look at this. You have Curtis Samuel. He is now a Bill. You have Austin Johnson. He is now a Bill. It's a big boy in the middle there. So, I mean, lots of players. Juan Jones, as I already mentioned, I don't think I mentioned, but Quentin Morris,
was re-signed. Yep.
So you have all these different players here who got picked up. Obviously, we've seen Diggs leave. We've seen some players go. But before, I'll let you get into all of that because, once again, this is your time. This is your show now, Patty. All right. So with that said, talk to us. What were your biggest, of course, departures that you were just hating? Some of your biggest pickups. I mean, what did you think about this Bills offseason overall?
I really liked the offseason because one of the things that Coach McDermott and Brandon Beane, the GM, look for, they look for character. They look for the ability, not only the physical ability, but they look for smarts, football smarts. And I had the pleasure to meet the other night, I'll be talking about it on my podcast, Pete Lembo, the new coach of the UB Bulls. And I heard him talk about a warrior spirit. And I thought, he said a lot of things that he is hoping for with the Bulls that he also kind of reflected in the Bills. And that warrior spirit looking for those players who have physicality, that intelligence, but that desire, the desire to be the hunter, not the hunted, to really go out there and play their best. And sure, we may not have the best, the named players were signed. Some of them are, like Mike Edwards and Curtis Samuel, who actually was drafted by Brandon Beane when he was with the Panthers and then also played under Joe Brady. So there's that familiarity with him. So we also, another player that got picked up, Chase Claypool. I hated him when he played for the Steelers. I really didn't care for him at all. But yet, I heard him in an interview when he came to OTAs. And I always am willing, of course, I love all the players, so I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. This is his time. I mean, after, I think it was 2020, he's just gone downhill. He's really gone downhill. This is his chance to get back and prove to the NFL that he can play. Coach Lembo mentioned a stat, which I thought was just incredible. 2.6% of college athletes that are drafted or that sign as undrafted free agents in the NFL actually make the NFL. 2.6. So not everybody's going to make it. And the players that the Bills have signed are the type of players that I think fit into the culture that this team, ever since Sean and Brandon got here, they're molding a culture. These are the guys that fit that culture. They bring leadership. Many of the players who were drafted and signed have been captains in their colleges. Just amazing. They won Super Bowls. Mac Hollins is another guy that I absolutely love. I know he played, I think, in 2020 with the Raiders. He was only there 1 year, but he's a guy that brings leadership and zen. I just love the fact he walks around with no shoes. I think that's kind of a cool thing. But
Don't you love that?
I love it. He actually was at the Micah Hyde softball game, and he was playing baseball without shoes on. I'm like, I don't know how you do it. But
Caveman.
the fact that he studied with Australian trainers, and he has 3 pet snakes, not a car. He doesn't own a car, but he has 3 pet snakes. I think that is so cool. And I'm really enthralled with learning more about him. So we've got players who bring not necessarily like this massive talent because we didn't have the salary cap. But what Brandon Beane is very smart about is he signs players for 1-year contracts. So if they're really good, then what he can do is, extend their contract. And if he's not, it's a win-win, especially for the Bills because they're gone. Von Miller this offseason. Now, Von Miller, we know he had that horrible Achilles injury. It was horrible. He wasn't his best. He wasn't even close to being his best last year. He tried to play. This year, he restructured his contract. And a lot of the restructuring kind of fast-forwarded money to when we are in the Super Bowl. So when we make the Super Bowl, he can get a lot of that money back. So that's putting your money where your mouth is, because he believes in this team. He believed in them when he signed, and he's believing in them now because that's what he wants to do. And he wants to get us to the Super Bowl. So I'm excited about the camaraderie, the team building, the engagement in the community, the leadership, the trust they have in each other, and the love they have for each other. They have a series called Embedded that was just released today. And I was listening to it before the podcast. And it was really interesting because you could see the love that they have for each other. It was clear that they have fun. They know when to have fun, and they know when to be serious. And Keon Coleman, what can we say about him? He is a riot. That man brings that personality. He's going to be so much fun. Everybody's going to be wearing these orange puffer coats because he just made them famous, and everybody's going to be eating cookies because he made them famous too. So I think it's going to be a really exciting season. And I think that in the off season, we solidified some spots where we lost a lot of leadership and a lot of years, like our safeties, for example. You know, Micah Hyde, we lost, and Jordan Poyer. But we also gained, you know, we signed back, I'm blocking on his name. Hold on a sec. My goodness, I had it on the tip of my tongue. Don't get old. Do not get old.
Oh my goodness! I'm trying to
think of his name.
Who was that?
Taylor Rapp. Taylor Rapp.
Okay.
That's who it is. Taylor Rapp. And he signed to a 3-year deal. So I'm excited about that. Rasul Douglas, who was a steal from Green Bay last year, we've got him returning too. So I think, you know, we're going to be in good shape. And I've seen some leadership, not with the new guys necessarily coming in, although we do have leadership with some of the guys coming in. But we also have leadership that has emerged after some of the players have left. So I think we're going to see some leaders like Dalton Kincaid. I think he's going to be a good leader. Terrell Bernard, definitely. Daquan Jones, he could have gone any place. He loves it here. My brother actually lives where he's from, near Johnson City, and got to meet him at a cornhole tournament recently, a couple weeks ago. And the guy said he just loves Buffalo. He loves, it's a family atmosphere. It's perfect for his lifestyle and what he wants. He wants to finish as a Bill. So we've got players who want to be here. We got safety Mike Edwards, who was signed. You know, Curtis Samuel, we talked about him. Mitch Trubinsky is an interesting off-season signing. He was with Pittsburgh. He was with us, then Pittsburgh, then he came back. What we noticed about Mitch Trubisky is that he is an excellent play caller. So with Josh, they have a very strong relationship. And I think that Mitch Trubinsky can, you know, really back him up and kind of help Josh see things that he may not necessarily see when he's on the field. So I'm excited that Mitch, granted, he's not, you know, I wouldn't put him in the top 10 of quarterbacks, but he definitely will be somebody that I think we can count on.
I mean, Patty, ladies and gentlemen, we haven't even gotten here yet, but I don't care. Please follow her. Do you see at Huddles 10251, also Buffalo Huddle HDL HUDL_IE. Yes, as you can see, somebody who is so embedded in the fabric of Buffalo and obviously of the team. I mean, come on now, knowing, okay, that a player owns 3 things. I'm just saying.
I know, the little things, but I also want to add one other player that may seem like he's under the radar, but I'm going to really hope for the best for him. And that is Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who came from Kansas City, along with Mike Edwards was with Kansas City. So they're bringing a Super Bowl ring with them. They're bringing that little extra knowledge that we need to get over the hump. Now we play Kansas City at home again here. I'm going to go out on a limb, not really go out on a limb, because I guarantee a win at home against Kansas City. You think this team is going to allow them to beat them again? Now, they'll beat them in the regular season. Now, let's hope we get them back for the playoffs, and let's hope this time we can beat them, if they even make the playoffs. We'll see.
Hey, no. This team is special. They're going to be back there. They just got to gel, and they can do this. This team is so.
They can do it.
They're underrated right now because of, like I said, what's happened, and it's obvious they've lost some pieces, as you said. Right now, we just talked about it, but I'll tell you right now, especially with this. Okay, last year, I think you guys. Look, I think the Texans won the draft last year, but you guys were like second place because a lot of. I mean, my goodness, look at this. I mean. Taking a look at this year, okay, I'm just going to show you how well this team is. Okay, so no first round pick. Let's go ahead and take a look at it here on the screen. So no first round pick this year, but still second rounder, a guy that could have easily gone the first round. There just wasn't enough space. I mean, that's all there is to it. Comes out right after, okay, the first pick out of the second round, Keon Coleman. This guy was a huge reason why Florida State was as good as they were. I mean, this guy made plays all day long, and
he's a basketball player.
And he's a basketball player. I mean,
he could have gone. He could have gone to be a basketball player. So he's got those skills to go up and get the ball, and he's got the hands. So he brings that plus the height. He's not as speedy as Xavier Worthy, who went to Kansas City, and a lot of people were like, "What are the Bills doing?" But you know what? That's where you've got to trust. Brandon Beane, we have to put our trust in him that he's doing the right thing. And that's what we did. So we got him and Cole Bishop, another great player that everybody said was a steal.
This guy's awesome. I've seen him a lot in the Pac-12, rest in peace. But I got to see him a lot play for Utah. This guy's a hard hitter. He is extremely fast, explosive player. I love that. Could totally make up for Poyer, that loss.
And intelligent.
And very intelligent.
This is the guy, Dwayne Carter. He is my guy. I'm telling you, if you ever get a chance, even if you're not a fan of the Bills, listen to him do an interview. He showed up his first day in a suit and tie. Talk about professional, intelligent leadership. He was the captain of his team. This guy is older than his chronological age. He is going to be a rock star. I'm really excited about him.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, I'm going to get a jersey. Well, I'm going to get his jersey. I already decided I'm going to get his jersey. I'm that confident.
Awesome. He is a total professional, carried himself so professional. And, yeah, he had a chance to play for a Duke team who was on the up and up. So I like that a lot. Yeah. Ray Davis, running back out of Kentucky, another player who I think he fell short just because he's 5'8", but that's the only reason why I think he was drafted later. I mean, this guy has so much explosive power. You see here on the screen, look at this. Okay, tied with Najee Harris for the most by any SEC running back. Okay, the most touchdowns. I mean, that's amazing touchdown catches in the SEC.
Yeah, he's going to pair up with James Cook, and the two of them are just. And that's another thing. Like, we can look now at the players they've drafted, the players they brought in. We're looking more at balance so that it doesn't all fall on Josh's shoulders. If it has to, it's going to be game by game planning. So if it has to be more passing and Josh has to take more of the shoulder more of the responsibility, then that's the way it's going to be. But it's going to be game by game planning, but it's good to have a good core tandem when it comes to running backs. And we also have Ty Johnson. He's another player that they signed who was really good for us last year. I mean, there's definitely some insights into the players that they've drafted and they brought in. So I think we're really going to see some. Javon Solomon. He's another one that a lot of people are pretty high on.
I like him a lot. Amazing edge rusher out of Troy. Great player. Also, another guy here. I always butcher his name, but he is an incredible athlete out of Washington. Once again, I've got to see him.
He said, just call him Ed. That's what
Yeah,
on his
Strongman.
interview we used to call him it.
Eduardo Lucio. Yeah, he is a total beast. Man. I love his. He is a sideline to sideline kind of linebacker. Obviously, you have another guy here. I think was a really cool. Some depth here added later on. You guys had a lot of later round picks. Dylan Grable, offensive tackle out of UCF. You have Daquan Hardy, corner out of Penn State. Travis Clayton, out from England. This was awesome. This was a really cool pick. A guard out of England.
He is a big dude. He is a big dude. 6'7", 393. I mean, he is huge. I can't wait to see him when I go to training camp on Sunday. I'm excited. He'll stand out in the crowd for sure.
Oh, yeah, he literally will stand out in the ground. Yeah,
he'll stand out for sure. Yep.
He'll be the mountain walking around over there, So yeah, he's gonna. So once again, lots of really great players here. I love it because there's depth. There's players who I think almost everybody will make this roster because right now the Bills are trying to figure out, especially in training camp. This training camp is, do you want to be here or not? That's what this training camp is. Okay, McDermott is trying to figure out, do you want to be here or do you not? Because we're taking the guys who do want to be here and they're going to pour their heart and soul into this, and we're going to go hard. So I love it. I love the attitude he's bringing, the guys he drafted. Patty, the Bills are not done by a long shot. I'll tell you right now, this team, people are writing them off right now.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And another player that adds to the running back core is Frank Gore Jr. We signed him as the undrafted free agent. So he's going to play his heart out because Frank Gore played for us. So he, his son got to know about Buffalo and he's beyond excited. They both are. So there's another guy that's, maybe he'll end up on the practice squad, but I'm just thrilled that he's here too.
I'll tell you right now.
I think they should expand the roster. 53 is just not enough. They got to make it like 65, I think. There's too many good players. I know they have the practice squad, but
hey, I'll tell you,
I
can pull them guys up
and win
it. I'll tell you this. We are staring at this schedule this year, and obviously you got the AFC East, who is, okay, Rodgers. What is he gonna? How is that gonna turn out this year? We'll figure it out. Tua, can this Miami Dolphins team, are they gonna be what everyone thinks they are? And then you take a look at the New England Patriots. Okay, they were just in shambles. They're trying to find themselves. So when you take a look at this. The Bills, it's not over, So I've been trying to, like I said, all show long, I've been trying to, I've been saying, yes, the Bills aren't the same. They're not, but I never once said the Bills are going to be a bottom feeder. I never once said they're not going to be good. Okay. Because once again, looking at this schedule, Patty, you got the AFC, of course, the AFC is near, but looking at, you have the the NFC West. Okay, so teams there that are strong, but some are also trying to find the identity, obviously here. And then the AFC South. Look, Patty, I'm not trying to undermine the schedule whatsoever, but do you look at some of these teams? Arizona, do they even know what's going on right now? I don't think they do. Jacksonville, they're trying to find answers right now too. This is another team that could be a wild card team. That could be anything. Houston, of course, they're a strong team. Baltimore, another strong team. But Tennessee, who are they? The Jets. I know Rodgers is there, but what's gonna happen? We haven't seen anything yet from them. Seattle, another team who's trying to find their identity. The Colts. Is Anthony Richardson gonna be there this year? Is he gonna be healthy? How is this gonna look? So obviously, Kansas City. Okay, look. Baltimore, Houston, Kansas City, and the Niners, and Detroit. Those are what, 4? Okay, we're looking at maybe 4 or 5 actual games that are going to be those punch type of games. I'm not saying that any game in the NFL is easy, Patty, but I'll tell you right now, looking at the schedule, the Bills can eat some lunch, okay, in this schedule. So I'm optimistic for the season. Taking a look at the season through the eyes of a diehard Bills fan, Patty, when you look at it, what do you see? What are you thinking?
All right, the first thing I want to say is the Bills have a very strong home field advantage, and Bills Mafia travels. Just ask the so-called fans in Miami who, we take over the stadium. When you listen back to the game, I taped the game, and listen to when Deion Hardy was running that 96-yard, that punt punt return for a touchdown to put us ahead. It sounded like we were playing at, well, it's not Ralph Wilson, Highmark Stadium. It was so loud. My husband and I will be at the Seattle game, and I'm looking to also probably go to the Indianapolis game, maybe Detroit, I'm not sure, but Bills Mafia travels. There's no question they travel very, very well. Now, looking at the schedule here, you can say that home field, you can guarantee, I would say, at least 8 games, maybe 7 games at home, and at least half the road. So I would say there's no reason we can't repeat and be 11-6 like we were last year. We finished 11-6, could be 12-5. Now, with that being said, there's things you have to consider. Injuries are a huge part of any of our teams. So right now, everybody in the NFL is 0-0. So we have to look at injuries, and we have to look at the type of injuries. We've seen a lot of injuries last year that changed the dynamics of so many teams. That's where it was really critical in the offseason to get the backups and to draft players who can step right in and not be afraid to start, even if they're a rookie. And that's critical. Now, as you said, every team in the NFL has had changes, but in the AFC East, we go with, the Dolphins. Let's talk about them. What's going to happen with Tua? Is he really the one? He didn't prove it last year, right? Everything about the New York Jets, does it hinge on Aaron Rodgers, who's going to be 41 on December 2nd? 41, right? Is he going to make it to 41 December 2nd? What's his attitude going to be like if the team isn't winning? Now, granted, they have a great defense. They're probably, out of all the FC East, they may be the ones that, they may be the closest. New England, as you said, they're projected to finish last because of all the coaching changes. And, they've got Jared Mayo right now, who was a former player. So, he's going to try his best. But is he going to really be good enough to get him to the top of the AFC? I don't think so. And then you've also got that North Carolina quarterback, Drake May. Is he going to be starting? Like, is he going to be able to do this? I don't know. So I would definitely, there's no reason that the Bills can't get 5 straight AFC East titles and win again this year.
It's once again spoken as a true diehard Patty. This I'm not trying to say that once again the NFL, that any of these teams are weak. It's just that the Bills, I feel, have it together where some of the other teams on the schedule don't. So right now, this is huge. And once again, people who are counting out the Bills, you might want to think again. So also, like when we used to do the primetime face-offs a lot, once again, people probably counted you out. And then you came out of nowhere with your famous poems and went undefeated. Okay, so I'm just saying, Patty, awesome stuff. As it goes, we've reached this awesome segment at the end where I think you've been part of many, many times and done so many cool things, and I'm so excited. Here we go again, another year. Patty, of course, this segment here on the bottom is a fun one. It's where you get to talk about the other 3 teams in your division. Once again, the Jets, the Patriots, the Dolphins, teams you just love to you love to hate. You can't stand them. And when it comes down to it, they have a season to play as well. So how do you think these other 3 teams are going to do this season? And of course, as you always are, very professional. But if you want to sprinkle a little on top and let us know how you really feel about those teams, as you do every year, let us know. Of course, this is your time. Patty Backs, stick it to them.
Okay, well, Buffalo, some of you may not know this, is the city of good neighbors. So I'm not going to trash talk because we're always being kind to each other. We try.
Every
year.
Of
course, I have to close out the Stick It To 'Em section with a poem called Go Ahead and Sleep on the Bills, I Dare You. That's about as trash talking as I'll get. But here we go again. The Bills and Josh Allen trash talking refrain. If Bills Mafia takes it personally, it can make us insane. That isn't happening. That's 100% true. because we bleed the team's colors of red, white, and blue. Players we loved may have left us and moved on to other teams. However, it's not quite the same as what it seems. We became younger, faster, and thirsty for a new look. Now, everything on football knowledge you can't find in a book. Reflecting on the year gone by, things had to change, the insiders would say. You have to switch it up and bring new blood, for it's a new day. And here we are with training camp ready to start. Bills Mafia will show up in droves. No one can keep them and the team apart. The game has evolved and the team is meeting the challenge and more. They reign as AFC East champs and no other team is showing them the door. So count us out if you must. There is no doubt. As Snoopy says, we will leave you in the dust. Go Bills.
Okay, so the applause button gives me some issues here, but I gotta say, once again, ladies and gentlemen, Patty Backs. That was incredible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Times over. Super awesome poem. I mean, Patty, it's cool. We have all the poems throughout all of IE Sports Radio, all over these shows. And I'll tell you right now, they just keep on getting awesome, more awesome, better and better and better. That was cool.
I wrote that at the train concert on Friday night. I took my notebook and wrote that while I was waiting for the act to start.
You're an RN. You've had multiple careers in your own career. You've taught college at the college level. I'm just saying, you popping out poems like, really, really awesome, beautiful, well-written poems. I mean, at first I was impressed, but Patty, I've learned that this is second nature to you. So it's kind of cool, It's like watching a mathematician do a problem without looking at it. Oh, this is easy. Look. So I mean, so yeah, I
That's my
love it.
dad. I channel my dad. He was a poet. He used to write jingles, and I say, "Come on, Dad, help me write a poem. I need one. I need one for the stick it to him section."
I'll tell you, he's awesome. You have it. Beautiful talent. I loved it. It was a wonderful poem. I think of course, all of our tons of listeners listening right now. Totally. I'm telling you, put it in the comments, guys. Because I'll tell you, that was an awesome one. Patty Backs, this has been truly awesome as it always is. And I am looking forward to these Bills. And well, if you want to follow her, because I think you should, right here at Huddles 10251. And then you got down here at Buffalo Huddle. That's Buffalo and then HUDLE_IE. You're going to want to tune in, guys. Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Trust me, it's hard sometimes getting in that chat room. I always say hello, but I'm telling you right now, cooking dinner, in the shower, doing laundry, whatever I'm doing, it's so cool. This show, if you don't like Buffalo teams, it doesn't matter, because this show brings something special every time. Patty, it is a true honor having you aboard. Thank you so much for being a part of this network and for spending years here with us. I hope you're here as long as you could possibly be here, like everybody, that does amazing shows here. You do an incredible job. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Once again, make sure to give her a follow. Incredible work. Thanks again, Patty. We really appreciate you, and thank you. Oh, here comes Josh. And
as Josh says, go Bills.
Go Bills. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for this segment. We are completely finished now with the AFC East, halfway through with the AFC. When we come back, we got my final weigh-in on the AFC East this season. Are there going to be any surprises? I guess you'll have to wait to find out. You are listening to 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days. AFC week, day number 2, AFC East, the conclusion, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back with my final weigh-in of the AFC East after this.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, Pittsburgh? This is Ralph Calise, the host of the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Are you that passionate, diehard Steelers, Penguins, Pirates, or just a Pittsburgh sports fan? Then please join me on the Injury Report every Tuesday on IE Sports Radio, the direct feed for all that is sports. And I will update you on all that's black and gold, and have you telling your Pittsburgh fans and friends what's up with Pittsburgh sports. Tune in Tuesday with me, Ralph Calise, the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go!
Are you a fan of Buffalo sports? Are you thinking of changing loyalties and becoming a Buffalo sports fan? Do you even know where Buffalo is on the map? Did you know Canada is closer to Buffalo than New York City? Welcome to the Buffalo Huddle, every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Patty Bax. This is a podcast designed for you, the passionate sports fan. I know you love your sports. Who doesn't? I cover Buffalo sports and so much more by bringing in the human elements. I call it Buffalo Sports with a Twist. Join me as we take a journey into the world of Buffalo sports. I guarantee you'll fall in love with Buffalo just like I did. Each week we start with an inspiration, question of the day, a Buffalo fun fact, and a weekly challenge to you, the listener. Come huddle up with me every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time for the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Bax on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. As we say in Buffalo, go Bills!
Welcome back, sports fans. Well, how about it? How did you like it? Day number 2, almost in the books. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the conclusion of 3 and out, 8 divisions in 8 days, AFC week, day number 2, AFC East day. Man, it's been a fun one, road tripping around the East over there, and we had some great guests, didn't we? Make sure you check out all 4 of those awesome shows, man. They are great people. Ricky, JB, D Dorch, and Patty Bax. Always love bringing it to you guys. Definitely appreciate you. As you can see, my little kitty Blue back here is making another debut here on the show. So she's having a good old time running around the same exact way that we're having a good old time talking football. So with that said, guys, we got ourselves one heck of a conclusion to do here, because this isn't easy. This is a tougher one, okay? So looking at the AFC East as a whole, what do you see? You see a team that has so much, you see 4 teams that have so much potential surrounding them, but at the same exact time, who's actually going to show up? Okay, this is a very, very tricky division to pick. And if you're somebody who does not have your AFC East chosen just yet, I totally get you. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off with, and I will have so many explanations for my picks as we go. So this time, yesterday, I know we started from the top to the bottom, because obviously it was a no-brainer in the AFC West. Even as a Raider fan, I mean, the Chiefs, right? And really, the question was, who's going to finish in the bottom 3? Well, today, this is all kinds of surprises in the AFC East. So we're going to start at the bottom first. I'm sorry, Patriots fans. Look, let me give you my explanation for this. First things first, it was a dynasty for years, right? And let me go ahead and get that dark blue in there for the Patriots. So it was a dynasty for decades, okay? And unfortunately, things happen. Hey, Rome fell, right? I mean, it is what it is. That was 400 years. Okay, it took 400 years for Rome to fall. And this happens, okay? Lots of great things came out of New England, okay? Championships, title town, guys, title town. The Boston Celtics just won a title this past year. So, yeah, this city knows how to win. Now, my explanation, though, for this is simple. Because if the Patriots have lots of solid pieces, but they are nowhere near complete. The offensive line is in shambles. You heard D. Dorch earlier talking about it. The offensive line is just in pieces. They're not the strongest team right now. Are they going to start May? Are they not? I mean, what are they going to do? Does it even make sense to start May? I mean, this team has a lot of question marks, okay? Gerard Mayo's first year as head coach. It's just this year is just it's that year, right? It's that year where we're gonna see a team kind of find themselves, or attempt to, at least, as they continue to build what they have going. It's just that journey, right? When you're not at the top, you're fighting to get to where the Patriots were for 2 decades. So this year, 7-10 to 4-13 is totally in my wheelhouse for the Patriots. Okay, let me explain why I have 7-10 being the ceiling. If this team actually puts it together and they look pretty good, they can sneak out a few wins, especially in the division. Okay, this is a team that really doesn't have a lot of upside to them at all. Like I said, aside from a few, star athletes, this team doesn't really have a lot to build on at the moment. Right now, as I said, they're just trying to find the identity. What are we doing? How are we doing it? And when I say that, I mean, Mayo's trying to see, okay, well, what do we really need? I need to see this in a game. What do we need? Okay. What is something that we need to address immediately? Did we address that in the draft? Did we find anybody in the draft? Do we have to go find anybody in free agency? You know what I mean? All these questions, okay? Because this is a team that is in a full rebuild. So if they're really, really, really good, I think really, really, really good for the Patriots is 7-10. There's no way it's better than 7-10. If it is, awesome. But right now, I just don't see it, especially with these other 3 teams in the division that are pretty damn good. Okay. 4-13. This is just if they go off the rails. This is if the year is just an utter failure and nothing goes right, and they just find themselves back in the basement, but in an even worse situation, and they have more questions leaving the season than they did coming in, and they just need to do a lot of work in the offseason. So this is very fair for the Patriots. Don't worry, Patriots fans. I think you'll be back soon, but this season for sure, I can see this being realistic. Okay. Now, the next three teams are going to be fun. Now, I know you guys heard me talking to Patty right now, blowing up the Bills, and because I have a lot of faith in this team. I know you heard me talking to JB earlier, talking about the Dolphins have a real chance at winning the division. And I know you heard me talking earlier to Ricky K, saying that the Jets, if they put it together and if everything goes well, this team can totally win the division. What does that mean? That means that literally all three teams can win the division. Does that mean that all three teams can make the playoffs? I also believe that. And I also believe that all three teams have a legitimate chance of being a solid contender deep in the playoffs. Okay. So, once again, not to misconstrue anything I've said in this show, but this just goes to show you, if this was a race like in NASCAR, okay, oh my gosh, what was a recent finish? Charlotte, I believe, the nose. Yeah, this would just be like, it would look like your fingers, guys, just right there past the stripe. 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. It's extremely close, okay? And that's what it's going to be, I think, in this year for the AFC East. Now, okay, after I blew up the Bills, this is if things go a certain way. The Bills can finish 1, 2, or 3. This right here is just if the offseason doesn't have too much of an effect, okay? I think 12-5 could be the high ceiling for these guys if they can pull it together without, missing those pieces they lost in the offseason. If they play well, and they can compete for their division. Okay. If they play the way they did last year, once again, minus those, like the hurt from those pieces they lost. Once again, okay, Gilmore, they lost Gilly, they lost some solid athletes here. If this team can get it together and compete, then yes, they can totally be 12-5. Because there's still a lot of star power there. And Josh Allen is a true competitor. But once again, if they don't, and if those pieces really harm them that they lost, and things just aren't the way, Buffalo's fans would hope. Personally, this could be a long season. And what I mean by long season is not, I don't see this team losing more than 8 games. I mean, than 9 games, really. But if it is a longer season, it's if it's a tougher season than what Buffalo has seen in the last couple of seasons, for sure. It'll be rough. And if the other two teams that I have on top of these guys, at least hypothetically for the moment with this whole argument, yeah, it could be tough if the Bills don't catch fire early. And I'm talking about early, okay? Now, do I still think the Bills can win this division? 100%. 100%. Okay, but that really does depend a lot now. As you can see, my color switching on over here. Oh, what color is that? Well, I think you guys know. Okay. Think you guys know. Oh, whoops. There it is. There it is for them Dolphins. Okay. Second place. This can also be a team that wins the division. I really do think so. 12-5 to 10-7. If Tua stays healthy, that's the first thing. Okay. The biggest outlier. And if he doesn't, the Dolphins could be second or third. And this also depends on the more injuries. They lost Christian Wilkins in the middle on that defense. They're gonna need that presence from Chop and the other players that picked up from the draft and in free agency. But the Dolphins at 12, I think 12-5 could be the ceiling, maybe even 13-4, depending. This team could even win 14 games, depending on how well they play. But once again, it all depends. And right now, it's just a little scary looking at Tua and some of the pieces they lost in the offseason. And as you heard JB earlier, these guys are injury prone for some reason, man. The Dolphins just can't stay healthy. So if they can stay healthy, you're damn right they can win this division. 12-5 to 10-7 is fair. It's very fair. Now, could they go backwards? Oh, yeah, they could end up being like the Bills. Like I said, And going 9-8 or even 8-9, the Bills could swoop right up and be a better team. And there's a flip flop right there already. Okay. But it all depends. Once again, these you never know. And that's why I'm not one for records, but I can give you a range where I think they could possibly be. And then, of course, number one, and this is obvious because this is kind of sad, but it really does depend on one dude, and that's Aaron Rodgers. Okay. The Jets. If Aaron Rodgers is healthy, okay, I know he's 41, right? 41. Well, he'll be 41 this year. Okay. Tom Brady, that didn't stop Tom Brady any, all right, from winning a Super Bowl. And, Aaron Rodgers is on that elite level. I won't say he's on the same exact level as Tom Brady, but he's up there in that elite area, okay? Guys, if Aaron Rodgers comes back and he's like Superman and freaking does it and stays healthy and does everything, they can win 14, 15. They could win 13, 14, 15 games. I mean, I'm not going on the undefeated thing, okay, because it's the NFL. But damn, they're going to win a lot of games because that defense is really, really good. I really like that defense a lot. They have a lot of pieces there, and they can really make it happen. Now, as I said here, if Rodgers stays healthy, okay, they're 13-4. The lowest is 11-6 because obviously, what if the Dolphins and the Bills are the two teams that I said they would be in a positive manner? Well, now we have a real deal, don't we? We have three teams that are that three-car race, okay? But it all depends again. If the Dolphins completely come up and the Bills do, and then something happens, I mean, God forbid anybody gets hurt. I mean, it sucks. It's the NFL. People are going to get hurt. But what if Rodgers doesn't stay healthy? Well, then guess what? They're right back to freaking – they're going to be better than the Patriots, I think, but they're going to be fighting with the Patriots for fourth place. I mean, for third, okay? It's sad, but it's crazy to think. That's one man, okay? That's just one guy because that's how damn good Rodgers is. If Rodgers is legit and good to go, they're probably going to win the division and they're going to look really, really, really good, okay? Or they're going to be fought really hard by the Dolphins or Bills. If Rodgers isn't healthy, they're not even in the conversation anymore. It's back to the Dolphins and Bills. Okay, does that mean that the defense can't step up and make things happen? No. But who do they have back there at quarterback? It's not Rodgers. I'll tell you that right now. See, so this is the jump around deal we have here in the AFC East. And logically, this is fair. This is very fair. All three of these scenarios with these three different teams, the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills, are fair. It's kind of funny because these three teams were beat down and plagued by the Patriots for 20 years, basically, guys. There was that 1 year where the Dolphins were okay in 2008. They were okay again in 2016. The Jets had that amazing Rex Ryan, Mark Sanchez run, I think, 2009, 2010, around there. That was out of nowhere. The Bills were pretty good towards the end of the Patriots' downfall. So, but all three of these teams, for the most part, were beat down by the Patriots year after year for so many years. And now it's kind of funny because the table's completely turned. The Patriots are the one now looking up at these three, and these three are fighting for the division. So it's kind of funny, instead of the sole king at the top, there's three fighting for that position before, but they knew it couldn't happen. And now it's just completely flipped. Now you have this guy that's become the janitor now, and these three are fighting for that supremacy at the top, the champions of the AFC East. So, guys, this is going to be such a fun division. I love it. Let's get back to our AFC Red here. Yeah, guys, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm so excited for this year, and the AFC East is going to be a lot of fun to watch. So there's so many scenarios there in so many different ways. Earlier, Taryn Rodriguez actually put in his predictions. By the way, guys, put your predictions in here. I'd love to know what you think about these divisions and all that fun stuff. But yeah, Terrence says here he's taking the Dolphins to win, then the Bills, and the Jets, and the Patriots. He must be thinking Rodgers won't be healthy, or actually probably won't even be that good. Obviously, the Patriots in the basement. You got the Bills that are still a potent team, and then the Dolphins. He's probably banking that Tua is going to be really healthy. And once again, you hope that they're all healthy. I'd love to turn off injury mode, like on Madden, if you were to do that, and just see these teams duke it out. But unfortunately, guys, injuries are just a part of the game. It's just the way it goes. I played this game for a very long time. The injuries are there. Trust me. It just happens, guys. It happens in any sport. It doesn't matter what you do in any sport. injuries they're there. They're a part of it. I mean, walking down the street, you can get hurt. You know, I mean, unfortunately, you don't want that to happen. But what I am saying is that injuries are they're there. So you can only hope that they don't happen. You know, but if they do, well, then you have the deals like this where we're not sure, but the healthiest team wins, right? And we're not sure who's going to win it, but the healthiest team wins. So, ladies and gentlemen, it has been fun. We are through 8 teams. Let's cue that music because we're out of here for today. All right, you guys, that's going to do it for today's show, man. I can't believe this. It's crazy, right? We are now 8 teams through the AFC. That's right. 8 down, 8 more to go. So excited for the next few shows. Of course, tomorrow we're picking it back up to the AFC South. Oh, we're going to have some fun tomorrow. We're talking Texans, Colts, Jaguars, and of course, the Titans. Oh, man, we got some great guests tomorrow for sure lined up. Thursday's show is going to be a lot of fun. We finish off AFC week, talking about the AFC North. We got our boy Ralph. He's going to be a part of that, man. We got some great people, man. Mike Fat. So, it's going to be a lot of fun, man. The Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, Browns, Denver, Colts, coming up. So, yeah, lots of great interviews coming on up. And I hope you don't miss them, y'all. Big up, by the way, man. We had a listener earlier, man. Really, really happy to have him aboard, man. DC Hope 23TV. Big up from Physics. So thank you, man. And you got new subscribers, so thank you guys very much. Subscribe on YouTube, guys. We're all over the place, man. Show us some love again right here follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that fun stuff at iSports Radio. Make sure you check us out. If you missed this podcast, like the one yesterday, it's on iTunes and all these great places, or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible, Castbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict. Sorry. You have your podcaster and dial save, and also check out our website at iSportsRadio.com. You have some merch like this stuff right here at iSportsRadio.com/. Check out all of our shows. iSportsRadio.com/free and out. That's it right there. Just follow at free and out. All spelled out. Free and out. Sorry. Follow me, your boy Larry B at BG_LB53. Big shout out to our sponsors, Planet Jerky. Big Jerky, that's on a whole other planet. Give them a follow on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Head on over to planetjerky.net. Buy you some jerky, and while supplies last, I hope they still have some. You get a free bag of jerky if you mention them on Instagram. And you heard this here on iSports Radio. Also, big shout out to my beautiful wife, the lovely Linda B. She has an amazing product here. Video wax deals, the wax cans, after the envelope, education, presents, gifts, whatever, wedding pictures, baby shower pictures, all that fun stuff. Give her a follow at field_wax deals and iSportsRadio.com/video wax deals. $1 to gift you. Show some love, guys. With that said, that is that. We will see you tomorrow, guys, as we get on into the AFC. Not where we were. AFC South. To me, your boy Larry B. Thank you to everybody who suggested and everybody who tuned in. We will see you tomorrow. Until then, take care. And as always, God bless.